So the whole narrative that I'm starting to figure out here, right, is that people are making it like Black Americans are so slow and dumb that we didn't know how advanced Africa was. For example, if you look at Young Don here, his video on a thumbnail, it says, I never knew Africa was this advanced. I actually watched a bit of his, and it's mainly a bunch of people saying, I can't believe there's Black people who didn't know Africa was this advanced. And to me, it's insulting to Black people. It's insulting to try to make it like, to take what IShowSpeed doing to try to make it a situation to make Black people look ignorant and stupid. Because there was never a narrative on whether Africa was advanced. There's no one in FBA that said Africa ain't advanced. We know that there are advanced parts of Africa. And there are parts of Africa that Tariq Nasheed and others joke on. That's ashy, poor, and all that. And we know that don't represent the entirety of Africa. Otherwise, how do you have a bunch of gold, diamonds, and all that? We know that there are rich people in Africa. But see, this is an attempt, in my opinion, to change and steer the narrative from the facts. The facts is Africans come over here and undermine us, and they side with the white supremacy. They side with the powers over here. And it ain't just Black versus white. It's the people over here versus the power. It's deeper than FBA. It don't matter your skin color. If you are born and raised in America and you are a rebel rouser, if you're a person that speak out against the system, people who come to this country who are immigrants, migrants, they're not radical. They're not speaking out against the country because they can get their privileges taken away. And in fact, they're trying to prove their loyalty and compete with the people that is speaking out against the wrongs in this system. And when you born and raised in America, you don't mind exercising your freedom of speech because you're an American. But when you come from another country, even though freedom of speech comes with being an American, you don't utilize it because really there's an unspoken rule in America. If you're a foreigner, you just can't be talking out like regular Americans. Some of them do, but not all of them. The most vocal people when it comes to politics in America is Blacks and whites. Tell me I'm lying. All of these other groups try not to do too much. They sit back and they just, do their thing because they're happy to be here. And that they work hard to get over here, and they don't want to come over here doing too much complaining and doing all that. I get it, right? I get it. But I don't mind people not complaining. I mind people trying to combat the people who is complaining and telling them they're lazy and you're complaining when they don't realize that all of the privileges they are enjoying come from us complaining. So only thing FBA ever was saying when these other groups come over here, don't undermine us. I'm pretty sure y'all familiar with that word. And I don't know how IShowSpeed going to Africa to dance on women and do backflips change the fact that you're not going to come over here undermining us. So I'm still trying to figure out what exactly this is supposed to teach FBA because we still on code. We still saying the same thing. You're not going to come over here and undermine us. You're either going to work with us or leave us alone. That's right. I don't see how Speed changes that. Well, he showed y'all Africa advanced. We've been knew that. We've been rocking dashikis and Egyptian shit since the 70s. You ain't teaching Black folks nothing. That's right. Dantana says Speed had his soft shoes on when he was shucking in Africa, huh? Yeah, I'm just trying to see exactly what was being taught because I'm lost on that part. And people are very vocal in the comment section, but when given a chance to speak on a mic, they don't utilize it. So I expected that, but let me get in the FBA people in the, well, I'm gonna get in the comment section of my last video, and I'm going to check out some, see if we got some smoke there. Some dude, Ape Trap, said, man, what the F are you talking about? This is nonsense. I'll let you speak your mind all day and say that, but you can't articulate to me how what I just said was nonsense. How is delineation nonsense? How is your group becoming their own exclusive group? How is ethnogenesis nonsense? Now, when people don't have a rebuttal to the facts you dropping, they just say, that's nonsense. Can you articulate how? Hell no, they can't. So, somebody said a lot of these dudes can't really travel because they got felonies, so they are basically trapped in America. But I'm going to say some real talk, though. You don't got to go to Africa to know that every continent that exists got advanced parts and toe-down slums. That's right. And you don't gotta go to Africa to know that each race, when they want to make fun of another race, they don't point to the most advanced parts of that race's community. They go right to the slums and the projects. So let's not act like we don't know the game that's being played. That's what I'm tripping off, and then try to change the narrative. Because I'm going to admit, FBA people know exactly that there are advanced parts of Africa, but they choose not to focus on them. They choose to specifically focus on the beaten down, downtrodden parts so they can make fun of Africans. Now, you may not like that, but I'm telling you the truth so that you don't think niggas is just ignorant. That's right. Now, niggas may be evil. Niggas may be harsh. You may say, damn, Sanchez, that's wrong. You telling me black folks know that there are advanced parts of Africa? Yeah, stupid. We just don't want to talk about it. We want to talk about the po parts, the slum parts. That's right. And people may say, boy, that's evil. You're right. And guess what that's called? Fighting fire with fire. I admit that. I admit that FBA is doing that, and that the tethers that come over here is doing that too. So what you got is a war going on. And I ain't gonna lie, the reason I'm on FBA side is because the people that's fighting against them have delineated, they got flags and exclusive identities. Everyone has said for years, black people don't got no identity. Now when we forge one for ourselves, they want to take it away. So that's why I'm standing on FBA side. I don't think no other group of humans can tell a group of humans they don't have the right to have a flag and a national identity when you got these small hats in power who have forged an identity for themselves that's a false one, and everyone respect it. That's right. And you telling me I can't have a real one? You got people that the whole world respect, and they got a false identity. People think they the chosen people of God. They calling themselves Israelites. People respect they fake identity, and they won't respect my real one. They won't respect my real one, but they'll respect them people fake one, and they don't think I'm gonna ride with delineation. Yeah, man, this stuff ain't gonna stop what FBA doing, bro. So some dude said IShowSpeed made all the American think we're indoctrinated to think Africa is a huge dumpster. That's exactly what he did. IShowSpeed ain't nothing but a coon. He wears dresses, play hella gauge up. He taint the image of a strong, serious black man. He paint us out to be dumb, slow, ignorant, chicken-eating, cotton-picking Negroes. Seriously. And this is no different than that. Him making it out to the world that I can't believe black people are that dumb in America. Black people didn't know that Africa is advanced. Yes, we did. And we was teaching the world that Africa was advanced. We got scholars and teachers and leaders over here in America that stood behind Africa and was teaching the greatness about Africa, not just how advanced it is today, but how advanced and mighty Africa was in the past too. And now y'all gonna just rewrite history because we delineating. And act like black folks didn't even know Africa was advanced. The argument was never about us being ignorant about Africa being advanced. Oh, you said Africa got sidewalks and subways and McDonald's. You didn't think we know that? It's a Pizza Hut right by the Giza pyramids, dummy. You think you just teaching us that now? I don't think nobody else took more fucking trips to Africa than black folks. They got entire tours that they do every year taking black folks to Egypt. They got schools in New York dedicated to teaching black people Egyptian greatness, and they don't got them nowhere else. You know what's sad? Black people been representing Africa for a long time, man. And they acting like they teaching us now that Africa advanced. So everybody doing that, you notice they getting hella views, the algorithm pushing it. If you black, it's time to get on code and get serious, because there's a lot of groups against you, man. And the people that run the media outlets, they're working the algorithm against your message and agenda too. We really got to get on code, man. People now trying to rewrite history like black folks are slow. Like everyone in the world knew that Africa had advanced places in it but us, just because we're joking on them being ashy. And we joking on them eating bushmeat. Now you didn't know that there was? No, it wasn't about that, bro. We know it was. That's called changing the narrative. Look at everyone that's doing that, because that's what you call boule, COINTELPRO, control opposition. I'm telling you now. Ain't no, bro, we was teaching the world how great Africa was when the rest of the world was saying Africa was a dump. Tell me I'm lying. Black people was teaching the world about the greatness of Egypt, and we still doing it now. We got Pan-Africans right now going along with IShowSpeed when it really makes them look bad. Because they literally got institutions where they're teaching the greatness of Africa. And IShowSpeed doing a show saying, I didn't even know Africa was this advanced, making it look like black folks are not teaching this information. When ain't nobody writing more books on Egypt and Africa than black people. That's right. We got all kind of motherfucking books and scholars, and we still got religious systems now that's based upon Africanism. And you can't show me other groups with these. But they're trying to make it like these groups know more about Africa than black folks now. Just because black folks deciding to delineate, they're going to rewrite history and say, well, we got to reteach them the greatness of Africa and how advanced and great Africa is. Like, bro, we've been teaching that. We was teaching that more than the damn Africans, to tell you the truth. That's right. We was spit, like when you listen to our music, a lot of our early music was glorifying Africa. We had names like Africa Bombada, for example, Zulu Nation. Even when you look at African musicians, they not repping it that hard. So to act like now you got to teach black folks because we're stupid. No, we just smart. We just delineating. And you want to change the narrative like it's just an ignorance issue. You got to teach them how advanced and great Africa is, and then they'll want to identify as an African. No, showing us pretty sidewalks and nice buildings ain't showing us shit. Every continent got built up places and shitholes. So when you have groups coming over here that's pointing out the ghetto and the projects, then you gotta expect black folks to point out their ghetto and projects. And guess how both groups are gonna respond? The black folks are gonna say, we got more to offer than just ghettos and projects. Look at these scholars and these up class places that we got too. All black people don't live in projects and slums. There are black people that live in Beverly Hills. This is what we tell the Africans. And so now what are the Africans doing? They're telling Menkeperata great. I didn't agree with the man. I just let him talk. See what happened when you reach? I just let the man on and I let him speak his mind. That's what I'm going to do with every caller. I'm going to let you call in, and whatever you say, that's on you. I ain't agreeing or disagreeing. And if you agreeing with what I'm saying, I don't need an amen. The call is really for smoke today. I really want disagreements. So that's why I was telling the white boy, man, let me get you off the call because I'm really looking for smoke. That's right. So I'm not here to really agree with nobody, Menkeperata. I'm really here to argue today, respectfully. But you will get a lot of time on the clock. I won't cut nobody off. But yeah, I'm fishing for smoke. I don't want no agreeing people even calling in. That's why I got him up out of there. And he didn't like that. Telling us all Africans don't live in slums. We got uppity places, built up places too. So both groups are doing the same thing, but FBA don't have a big platform to give them an outlet. You know, the mainstream narrative is going to promote the out of Africa theory and the Africanism. Both groups are doing the same thing, and the truth, and this truth can be said about both groups. Both groups know for a fact that each group got more to offer than what they're showing when they're joking on each other. And if you go to like a stand-up comedy show, the comedian may joke on a different race or a group, but he knows that group got more to offer than that. Like he may joke on the fact that Mexicans can work hard, even though he know that there are rich ass Mexicans that don't gotta work at all. They live in luxury. They don't gotta do no work. But he's stereotyping just to make a joke because it's called roasting. So when I got to roast a person, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to look for the bad shit, not the good stuff. So yes, both groups are doing this to each other. Let's talk about that. And if we want to unite these groups, let's deal with the truth on what these groups are doing to each other. And let's quit making up these false narratives. Like one group don't know that the other group is advanced. No. Both groups are just intentionally looking for the bullshit on purpose to make fun of each other. That's the fact. That's right. I'm not going to show up here today and sugarcoat it and play with y'all for views. I'm not going to feed the algorithm like these guys doing. None of that. I'm going to just come tell you the truth about it. You got black people in America that's feeding the algorithm coming out saying, yeah, man, I'm glad IShowSpeed did that so he can teach black people how advanced Africa is. And they forgetting that we are the teachers of Africa. Show me another group that got Pan-African studies in their goddamn culture. I'll wait. That's right. Stand by, people. I think we got some smoke on the way. We got to screen a caller. You don't have any groups out there that got Pan-African studies in their institutions. There's really only one group in the whole world that even teaches something called Pan-Africanism in their college. And that's black people. You can't even get taught Pan-Africanism in Africa. Think about that. Now you're going to act like you telling black folks how advanced Africa is. What an insult. When we've been teaching the world how advanced Africa is, how great Egypt is. Yeah, go ahead and rewrite history just because we delineating. It ain't going to stop nothing. You can take all that history, you can make it like we dumb as hell overnight, and it ain't going to stop us from delineating, man. They trying everything. Let me screen these callers, and we're gonna keep this thing going, man. Make sure y'all vote. Put your vote up there, man. And the vote says, did Speed's Africa trip make FBA look bad? I'm gonna say no, hell no. It made Speed look bad because Speed went there and said, I didn't know Africa was this advanced. Instead of them trying to put that to make all black people look dumb, when we've been telling the world how advanced Africa is, and we take more African trips than anybody. Go to Egypt every damn year, some of these folks. It's places up north that look like miniature Egypts. It's literally places in New York where you would think you in damn Africa. Them niggas got on Egyptian shit and all that. Like, to act like you gotta teach black folks how great and advanced Africa is in 2026 is one of the biggest insults ever. Yahukanan, what's good, my brother? I know I just butchered this name. Yahukanan. Is that it, man?
Yo, you there?
Yeah, say your name real quick. Salutes to you, bro.
Yeah, shalom to you. Peace and prosperity. Yeah, peace and prosperity is Yahukanan. Yeah, Yahukanan.
I got you moving forward. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I got you.
Okay. I'm Gullah Geechee descendant. Straight black American. I could be considered half and half. A little bit of FBA, a little bit of immigrant, you know, seeing how a lot of the slaves were taken down there to Charleston, South Carolina. So I took a trip back in like 2015, 2016, stayed in Nigeria for a month. I think there's like a psyops going on. United Nations memorandum, I believe it's 46, to keep black Americans away from blacks in Africa, mainly West Africa. And I'm thinking that the reason why is because many of us have lineage to those places, and our languages our dialect and languages are similar. So they don't want us over here speaking languages where when they pull us over, we're speaking in a different language. They don't know what we're doing. They can't understand what we're talking about. You know what I mean? So there's like this is definitely some type of high governmental, from what I could see, it's some high governmental separation between the two groups. Now, with IShowSpeed going over to Africa, I think a lot of black Americans.
You mind if I interject before we go to Speed real quick?
Yes, go ahead.
Appreciate you. I don't think they trying to keep us away from Africans, because if they did, they wouldn't be allowing them to immigrate over here like they're doing. And they're targeting other groups for immigration, but not particularly West Africans and all that. And also, when you said that we could trace our lineage back to Africa, that's just not true. Most people in America trace their roots back here, and it don't leave here. It don't. You go all the way back to 1700, some of these people, and they still in America. You know what I'm saying? Now, the white man's history said, well, before that, I came and got you from Africa, but that can't be proven. We got Olmec heads right here. We got a lot of statues right here in America with black people faces on them that we shouldn't ignore. These are Negroid features that was here already. So we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. I don't think they're trying to keep us away from Africans. I think they're trying to keep us away from each other. I think the biggest agenda is to keep black people in America from coming together as an exclusive group working together. Every group in America got like Chinatown, Koreatown, they work together and they excel quickly. And they say, well, it's because black people are lazy, right? They say it's because black people are lazy, but here go the truth. It's because black people is divided, because black people get up every day and go to work like everyone else, dog. And black people grind and football, basketball, music. Black people get up and do our thing, athletes, all that shit. So laziness ain't the issue, because statistics show we spend a lot of money every year on bullshit. We spend more money than other groups. You can't get that much money being lazy. So the problem is we ain't organized. Our money don't come back to us. We don't work as a team. And everyone benefit by us not working as a team. So I don't think Pan-Africanism they trying to stop Pan-Africanism because they gave that to us. They gave us hip-hop with Africa Bombata. They gave us roots. They gave us coming to America. They pushing Africanism on us. The Dutch government just tried to go to Egypt and get Beyonce and Rihanna up in the African Museum to show that black people are Africans, and the Egyptian government turned them around and said, no, that's cultural appropriation. Blacks aren't Egyptians.
Right, right.
Yeah, so I thank you for letting me do that, man. You got it.
Yeah, it's all good. So you know, I take that with a grain of salt, but from just my observations of living in Nigeria for a month, I've seen people that look just like my people here. Man, this is okay. So I would say most black people in America, they don't really have an interest in Africa because they have been told, and they may have had certain experiences where it's the idea is that Africans do not like us. And then, you know, we take on that aspect that we don't like Africans. Now, for the black Americans here.
Oh, my bad. Let me be quiet. You got it, man.
No, I want to keep it, you know, quick and short so you can get to your to your content members and stuff, you know, get to your members and stuff.
No, take your time, my bad.
I'll say that for one, all the black people that are so-called black here in America are not black up to the third generation. Many blacks here are not up to the third generation. And even Hitler had this rule that if you mix in for 3 generations, the race or the ethnicity or the lineage will go back to its original. Many blacks that are considered blacks here are not black completely. I could say that even as a Gullah Geechee descendant, they have our lineages coming from Nigeria, Ghana, Togo.
Who have it? Who is they?
Leone.
Who is they? Who have our lineages doing that?
Our family, our culture, our
no.
Our
hold on.
Yes,
a second.
The Gullah Geechee, people.
I got you. Well, listen, this is all I wanted to say. My grandmothers and my forefathers didn't say I was from Africa. They said we've been here. That just to let you know if we want to go through what our family is saying.
I get that.
Yeah,
I get that. Most of us would not know about 5 generations back. Like we can't go back 5 grandfathers back.
How would you know, and how would the white man know then, if that's true?
Well, one thing that is particularly very peculiar about the Gullah Geechee people is our dialect. There's a book
but
called,
you can't force your identity on everyone, though. I mean, you telling me who you are, and I ain't denying that.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of blacks in America do not have lineage to Africa at all. They have lineage to Ireland, Scotland. They have Dutch ancestry. They have French ancestry, and I'm talking about the Mario and Luigi kind. So they have the $5 Indian lineages. Some of the blacks in America. But then there's a large portion of blacks in the southern regions, let's say starting from Southern California all the way over to Georgia, Florida, and up to New York. That southern region portion of the United States, there's many of those people that do have lineage to other places, whether it be South America, whether it be the islands, or whether it be Africa. But these things are being, like, you know, kind of hidden because, like I said, you can't go to your 5th grandfather's grave site. You can't go back 5 grandfathers on your father's side or your mother's side and find their grave site.
And that's why we should just let everyone have the right to self-identify. And so when you meet a person, you ask them who they are versus tell them. And if a person say, look,
I agree.
And that's where if a person say, I'm an indigenous American, I don't see how anybody can deny them that, if, like, they know who they are. If they know their blood go all the way back to this land. But then the rebuttal to that would be the out of Africa theory. But see, theories don't trump passed down family oral traditions on who I am. And theories don't trump my right to self-identify like every other group. Because think about this, right? It ain't scientific that the Jews are the children of God and that they're the true children of Israel. That's a biblical identity that ain't even really based on geographics. It's a pseudo name, but we still respect it as a legit nation. We talking about a group whose identity come from a fairy tale book. Now my shit come from a real.
I'm going to like, you know, lean off of that topic and just say like, okay, we're talking about Black Americans and their
Well,
knowledge
listen,
of
do
Africa.
you hear my point
Mhm.
though? Why I'm bringing that up? If we talking about Black
Well, I
America,
can't say that because I can't
well,
really say
listen
that
to me. You
because I know
gotta
that
let
there are
me land.
lineages.
You gotta let me land, and you'll see the point. The point that I'm making
Okay.
about these Jewish people is that they identify how they want. They exercising their right to self-identify. We know that their identity isn't legit, but everyone respect it, right? So what I'm saying is our
Okay.
identity is legit. We are black people. We are Americans, and we built the foundation and been here since the foundation. So none about any of them three words is wrong. Foundational Black American. Who will hate on that? It tells you who we are, what we did, and where we are.
Well, it's not so much the term. It's to me, it's just more like it's to me, it's a psyop to make you feel like you don't have connection to any other
But it
place.
doesn't make
Just
me
like, okay,
feel.
so take for instance.
Hold on. It doesn't make me feel that way, brother. This is what I'm telling you. All FBA is doing is acknowledging our lineage that's right here in America. For example, right? FBA started the Pan-African movement. The Pan-African movement ain't started by Africans. Foundational Black Americans started the Pan-African movement, right? So think about this. When we said we want to acknowledge our greatness way back in Africa, we didn't stop there. We later now coming today saying, look, let's show our recent ancestors some love. If you're going to trace your lineage back, you can't skip over your mama, great grandmama, great grandfather, and all that and go away to Egypt. You got to pay all of your ancestors respect and start from your mama, go to your grandma, all the way back. So why can't FBA attach also to our ancestors that had great achievements here and get pride from that too? It can only just be Egypt. So that's what I'm saying about Pan-Africanism. It gave us an ultimatum. It said either you're going to be Pan-Africans or nothing. And when you talk to people like that, who do you think you are? They're going to say, well, fuck you then. I never denounce Africanism. I still got a dashiki right here, man. I still got my pride in African cultures. I'm going to still teach about the Dogon and the Pygmy. See, that because I got pride. I love these cultures. It ain't no front with me. But the whole thing is I love the American ones too. I love the Olmecs too. I love the black people that was here in America too that had great achievement. And so for a person to tell me to choose between which ancestor I want to love, that's an evil person.
Okay. And I'm gonna end it right here. I'm gonna go ahead and let you go because I might call back a little bit later, depending on how long you rock this thing. Now, I would say this. Somebody said something just a few days ago to me that really sparked my intellect, where it was like, you notice how white people that have been here for hundreds of years, not just, not just since the 1700s. I'm talking about the 1500s. They've been here, but they will still always say, well, my great grandfather is Scottish, he's Irish, he's British, he's from here, he's from Turkey, he's from Iran. So that's the thing that gets me, where it's like black people, we're like, I don't want to be associated with Africa because I don't know anybody in my family from Africa. I don't have anybody in my
Hey, bro, did you mute yourself? Hold on. Or did I mute you by mistake with the screen share? You said you unmute yourself, y'all kind of. You were saying, I don't know anybody from Africa. I don't have any family there, and we don't want to be associated with it. Start right there, brother. Yahookin it. Hit your microphone button. I don't know what.
You can hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Start off where you said we don't really, we don't know nobody there. That's why we don't. Go ahead. We heard you.
Yeah. So that sparked my interest when the person mentioned to me that Europeans they will always say that they have lineage to another place. They from Greece. They might have Greek ancestry, Ireland ancestry, Scottish ancestry. So they consider themselves American. They are all American. You know, with all the, you go up to New York, you can find all the American so-called foods that are from other places. French fries from France, you know, hot dogs from Germany. So they have like this concept that I'm all American, but my great grandfather's Polish. You know what I mean? Or my
But
great great grandfather on my father's side is Polish.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to cut you off. I was just trying to interject and give you this so you don't waste a little time here. Tariq do that every show. He says, listen, we all come from Africa and we acknowledge our African ancestors, but right now...
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Well, it ain't about your belief, brother. It ain't about your belief. I watch this man every goddamn day. I'm not following a movement and leading my people in it without watching and hearing the talking points and following the information. That's one of my beefs with Tariq. I got a video reviewing a video of him saying that, and I'm challenging him on that. I keep telling folks Tariq is a Pan-African. You don't watch it, brother. That's why you talking about what you believe and don't believe versus what you know. I'm telling you what I know. I'll bet you $500 right now. Right now, Cash App, let's do it. That he teach that. And I can show you receipts right now. So that's what I'm saying. I ain't coming up here belief, bro. I'm telling you what the man does. Right now, you need to just deal with that. That man teaches black folks come from Africa, but there was an ethnogenesis. We became our own unique people, just like all the groups in Africa. The Dogon are their own group, the Pygmy their own group, the Bushmen their own group, the Ashanti their own group. Everyone in Africa practices tribalism. No one just says, I'm an African. They specify what type.
Yes, and America has that too. That's one of the points I wanted to hit on too. America has that tribalism mindset too. Niggas in Texas don't mess with niggas in Mississippi like that.
But we changing the
like
subject.
That. You know, they might have family members and stuff.
Listen, you hold up, bro.
You know, we got a tribalism thing here too.
Hold on, bro. That ain't what you calling ain't really tribalism in the context we speaking of. Let me ask you a quick question so you can see what I'm getting at. Do you have a problem? And I'm gonna let you have the flow, and I appreciate your patience, too, my brother. It's been a good bill. I think we doing a lot of. Hold on, let me see some. Watch this. This is the point I want to make with you.
Yeah, I appreciate it too. I appreciate it.
Do you have a problem right here with this Jamaican man waving his Jamaican flag? I'm just saying, do that make you feel some kind of way? It's just a question.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I got another question for you.
Okay.
Do you have a problem with this Haitian man right here holding his Haitian flag? Being
not
proud?
At all.
Okay,
not
now watch this. Watch this. Do you have a problem with this FBA man right here holding his FBA flag?
I do.
That's fucking sick.
That
hurts me, bro.
And
now
look,
here's my question. Here goes my question. I got you.
My God.
My question is, the reason you don't have a problem with these men, even if this brother moved to America, I won't have a problem with him saying, I'm a Jamaican American and having this flag next to the American flag. They do that all the time. But you got a problem if I say, look, I'm a foundational black American, but I'm still an African. I'm still a diasporan. I'm still a black man that's identifying with black people everywhere in the world. I'm just specifying which kind of black person I am because the word black is so vague. Like, what kind of African? What kind of black? And everybody is able to do this. This man can say, oh, I'm a Haitian black man, you know, diasporan. Oh, I'm a Jamaican diasporan. But we just gotta be a general, vague umbrella blanket. We can't specify like no one else. That's really what you're doing is you're not giving us equal rights.
I'm not mad at the FBA, bro. I'm not. But I do see that there is a cause for concern when the foundational Black Americans sided. It's just like how they do in Africa and how they do in the Caribbean. They sided with the Queen. So I have a problem with people siding with the Queen, but I have a great respect for those that resisted and hold on to their culture that is separate from the Queen. And the Americans, the Black Americans, we have sided with the Queen. We sided with the red coats and the blue coats to the T, to the point where we don't even have our own indigenous languages anymore.
Because we're
So to me, it's
divided.
kind of like it's like a frowned upon type of thing when it's like, oh, well, I'm a foundational Black American. You know, we did this, we did that. But guess what you also did? You sided and allowed the white man to take over your territory.
Let me explain something to you, brother. Regardless of what we did good or what we did bad, if we don't come together as one group, we're doomed. So you can point out what we do and don't do, but I tell you what, if we don't unite under our lineage, we're doomed. So everything you saying is only it makes it that much necessary for us to delineate, because the reason we did all the stuff you just pointed out is because we ain't on code and we ain't acting as one group with one mission. Ain't no checks and balances.
I agree. And like I said, there is tribalism in America. Like the Florida niggas don't mess with the Georgia niggas like that. The niggas in Texas, when Katrina happened, I met a lot of people that was moving from Louisiana over to Atlanta. And then a lot of them were shipped out to Texas. They really didn't, you know, they had different kind of cultural backgrounds. So it's the same way even when you go to the islands, you know, Haitians and Jamaicans don't really vibe like that. They can, you know, but to me, it's a tribal thing in a family lineage thing more than it is a tribal thing. It's a family lineage kind of scenario that we have here in America. Because as I said, you go back 2 generations, a lot of so-called blacks here, their grandfathers or their great-grandfathers are white men. So they can't really, and one thing I noticed about people that are like, have these great-grandfathers that are white, they will have this thing in their DNA where they will protect the white power structure before they protect the black power structure. It's just in their DNA. It's in your DNA to protect your father's lineage and your father's, name. So it's kind of embedded in their DNA. So some of these people that are saying that they're foundational Black Americans, they're really not. They're actually British babies. They're Mario and Luigi British babies at that.
Let me say something, bro. If you say, well, a person ancestors go to Ireland, Britain, or even African, that don't change the fact that they're a foundational Black American. Now, hear me out. I don't agree with the out of Africa theory, but let's just go with it. Even if all of us was from Africa, the first blacks on this land, the first people on American land would have been black people. The out of Africa theory don't say there was some $5 Indians or another group here first. It says black people started life everywhere. They was the first people. So the out of Africa theory got to shoot itself in the foot just to deny us our right to delineate. It will contradict its own theory. That's how come I said it's something very dangerous about us coming together like this, bro. It's a real power out there that don't want this to happen, which is why I'm pushing for it even more. You see what I'm saying? Because this thing don't even mind, it don't even mind contradicting itself just to say, now, no, blacks, you wouldn't hear, even though they've been teaching since the beginning of time. We watch Roots, Amistad, now they going against their own word, rewriting history, just because we delineating. So my thing is,
I get what you're saying.
So either way it go, we would be the foundational Americans, the first ones here. But no one want to acknowledge that now.
That's why I say I'm not even mad at them. And we can go through history, as you said. We can find that there's some original blacks that originate in Asia. There are some original blacks that originate in Saudi Arabian Peninsula, and they still there. So I agree with you, to that extent there. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening to you, my brother.
Okay. So I agree with you that there's foundational blacks in Asia where they actually Negroid descent, Polynesians that have Negroid descent, or they're Negroids. The original peoples of all over the planet we could see have some type of Negroid descent, and they were melanated. So you can say that there is foundational Black Americans. I'm saying that the issue that I see is the fact that some foundational Black Americans are not truly foundational. Their forefathers are white men that been mixed in.
Well, I just want to say
that
something.
would say they're grafted in, you know, sort of say they've been grafted in.
Even if that's true, right? I wouldn't make that a reason to not push FBA. That's like saying, look, I'm not going to start a military because it can be infiltrated. I'm still going to start a military. And over time, we just got to weed out the fake and the phony, and eventually to cut the grass and see the snakes. But just because I know that a house can be broken into don't mean I'm going to sleep outside. I'm going to still build a house. Yes, it can get broken into, it can get infiltrated. That's not a legit reason not to do it, though. Not to push it and galvanize your people like everyone else doing. It's Haitians flying this flag right here that ain't real Haitians. They faking. They ain't real Haitians. You know that, right?
Yeah.
And these people ain't going. And these people ain't
mixed up out here.
And they ain't gonna stop repping they stuff just because there's some fake ones among their ranks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like I said, I congratulate you too, man, on all your work that you're doing. Keep doing it and bringing out the facts and getting everybody to discuss this. But I will tell you, from my trip to Nigeria, man, I had a silent cry like I never had in my life. A silent cry where I was like, tears was running down my face, but I couldn't stop them shits. And it was because of me seeing all of the people in like the ability to have like a workforce. Might sound a little crazy, but it's like, yo,
you ever been to Atlanta?
People here.
You ever been to Atlanta?
Yeah.
Black Atlanta. Yeah, Black Atlanta. Yeah.
Yeah, I done been here and there.
Go to Memphis,
Park,
bro.
All of them places. And been a little bit of everywhere, and I'm right here by the DMV. So I grew up right here near DC South side. You know what I mean? That joint was terrible back in the 90s, man. That shit was just like Chocolate City for real. It's crazy how the city done changed, but Chocolate City was really Chocolate City. We had a lot of Africans, a lot of Jamaicans, a lot of Trinidadians. Everybody's kind of like dispersed now. You know, you don't see brothers and sisters outside like you used to. But I'm just saying, like, my experience going over there, I would tell people to look towards the East to invest, just like the China man is doing. Like you said, we should have a little African American town everywhere. It should be a little African American town.
I disagree.
In New York. It should be a little African American town in Louisiana.
You know why I disagree?
American town in Florida.
It shouldn't have the word African in it, because what we gotta do, we gotta quit telling people in America we're foreigners. That's why I'm repping foundational Black American. If we're the first motherfuckers to set foot in this land, why are we telling folks we Africans versus Americans? During the age of discovery, when people was finding new lands, it was finders keepers based upon the first people that was there can say, this is our land, and we're going to name it and make a name for ourselves based upon the land we claim. That's how the shit worked. So if our ancestors named this name, let's say America, and they said, we're going to be the Americans, then can't nobody come after that and undermine us when it comes to our spot at the table in politics. You got to listen to what the original people of the land got to say. You know what I'm saying? So my whole thing is this right here.
Facts, though.
But when we show up to speak, we say, no, I'm an African. And everybody else show up saying, no, I'm an American. People who even come from other countries show up knowing the power of being an American when you're dealing with American politics. Like if I go to Africa, if I go to Nigeria and I move there from America, and I'm dealing with politics to make shit happen and shit in their land, right? I'm gonna say I'm a Nigerian. I'm gonna show my card. I'm gonna say, listen, I've been living in Nigerian for 4 years. I mean, I used to be an American, but I consider myself a Nigerian. My concerns about this land. This is where I live. This is where my children at. Why? Because I'm trying to opt in to the system where I'm at so I can have a say-so. So my thing is, we've opted in with hip hop, football, basketball. We've done that. But on a political level, we haven't formulated ourselves as a group to make that happen. We haven't done that in any of the industries that we dominate, which is why we don't benefit with the most, reap the most benefits from those industries, even though we dominate them, right? We haven't came together to strategize economically on how to control these industries that need us for them to thrive. We haven't leveraged that our power that we got, that you can't have an NBA without us. But we haven't come together and closed doors as a group and say, look, we got to kind of like boycott and let it be known, like, we should have more say so. We should, be, you damn near. Why don't we can't buy into ownership with teams like everybody else and stuff? Like you can't have a league with, but we don't come, for that to happen, your people got powers and numbers. You see, so if your people ain't talking this and the only way you can do that is delineating, which is like saying, listen, I love everybody, but my team got to go huddle up so we can make this play real quick. We got to go over our little routine. It ain't that I hate you. Everybody go in a huddle to plan a next play, which is why they winning and we losing. Imagine playing against a team that can't huddle up. They'll never be on one accord. They're gonna look shitty when they hike the ball.
Yep. So what would you call us if you know how they got the Chinatown, they got the Little Italy, Little Russia, Little Jewish town? What would you call our town? What would our town be called? As FBA.
Now listen, keep in mind what you asking me is just based upon my personal taste and opinion and preference. But in a real natural setting, FBA will have to call together conferences and agree on this as a group in a voting system. That's how that would go down. But if it was me and I can just choose and no one else get to say so, you might not like this, my nigga. But hey, we would be what they used to call us from the jump, Nagas. I like that because everyone already knows. Shout out to OG George Macon for joining us.
I just tuned in because I thought my brother was being disingenuous for a minute. I could be wrong, but from what I'm hearing, when he was making a statement about FBAs having like white ancestry, like a white, like saying that we come from a white man, I think that was real disingenuous because when you understand slavery and what foundational Black Americans was about, it was about the indigenous people, but all indigenous Black folks, but also the ones that worked the soil, the ones that was on that was on the plantations in the rice fields. So of course, foundational Black Americans got some white DNA or some white ancestry in them because of what happened. That don't make you not FBA. Like, it's like a lot of our people, and I told you, Sanchez, a lot of our detractors is going to come from a lot of our people because we're not used to doing things on our own and being independent. We're used to caring for everybody else, and that has a psychological effect. So our own people is going to attack us. They're not going to have a problem with Jamaicans being Jamaicans and Haitians being Haitians, but they're going to have a problem with you declaring your own identity. It's going to come from our own people. For him to go up there and say that was totally disingenuous, and he was being smart. And I heard what I heard what the brother said. So when a lot of us do have white ancestry because of slavery, but that don't make you not FBA. We are the people from the soil that was here from the foundation that built this country, that built the country. So like, no, we got to stop this stuff, man. I listened well and I comprehend well, and I heard exactly what he said.
Well, I didn't mean to offend you, brother, but I'm just saying it's 3 generations. It's a 3-generation rule. If your lineage has not been broken, this is the reason why I could look at a Haitian, I could look at a Jamaican, I could look at a Guyanese, I could look at certain cultures, and I can look at them and say, not just from their look, but I can see that they are. Can I
say something about that, because you brought that up the second time? If you can look at all these groups and see yourself but also respect their right to self-identify as Haitian, Jamaican, and all that. Why can't you do that with your own people? Why we got to be the only group that say, listen, all of us look the same and we one people, and
Can I tell you
everybody,
why, Sanchez?
but yeah.
Because he's looking at them. This is what he's saying. He's looking at them as looking more African than us. They don't look as tainted as we do. That's what he's saying.
No, that's
Yes,
not
you
true.
are.
That's not
So I
true.
need you
That
to
is not
explain what you're saying.
true. Going to Nigeria,
Damn.
Go
I
ahead.
seen
Go
people
ahead and
that look
explain
like
it.
people from the Middle East, bro, and they are Nigerian. They look Ethiopian. I'm not saying that.
You said Haitians and Jamaicans. Let's specifically stay right there where you what you said, because they would look more culturally African more than what we would.
Okay, for some of them, yes.
But that's what you brought them up. So that's what I'm dealing with. So what I'm saying to you is, in America with FBA is about the us being indigenous to the land, and we're not saying that we don't have African DNA or ancestry, but we had ethnogenesis. We've been here a long time. And on them plantations, we've been mixed and matched at times with different groups. So yeah, we have different bloodlines than us, but that don't make us not FBA. We are the people that was on them plantations, that was of the soil, and that's what that is. So y'all gotta stop trying to create these false narratives, man, because you ain't stupid. I can tell that you're a very articulate brother. You know what we were saying. So why would you come up here and try to challenge that?
Like I said, it's the 3-generation rule. Hitler knew about it. Many scientists knew about it. When you start breaking the generations down, so say if your great-grandfather was a white man, your children can be 3rd generation, but you are broken. Your lineage is broken.
You know what? Here's my thing.
You can't be foundational. How can you be foundational?
Hold on.
Your great-grandfather is a white man.
I'm trying to show you something. The word foundational is due to the fact what you just agreed to. We were the first fucking people in America, according to you, which means we built.
Correct.
Okay,
now, that's
so
history. That's
so
not
look, so
according to me.
look,
That's
so
according to history.
okay, cool. I'm with you. So we built the foundation here. We established the land, cultivated it, learned the land, sweet potatoes, corn. We cultivated. We loved on the land, right? Before any other group showed up, according to what you saying. But you want to still take away the word.
It's not according to me. It's according to history.
I'm agreeing with that, but I'm saying you did say it too. So this my bad if you don't like that. But the point is, how then can you take the word foundational away just by saying, well, if you go back 3 generations, we can find white people in your blood or this group in your blood. You can do that with Africans too, but they still flying their Kenyan flags, Nigerian flags, which is letting it be known we are the original people of this land. Because guess what? If you got other groups in this land with these Kenyans, guess what? They just can't fly the Kenyan flag. They got to fly the Kenyan flag next to their homeland flag. Just like if a Kenyan come to America, he got to fly the Kenyan flag with the American flag. But see, the people that's saying that they're indigenous to the land, they just hold up the Kenyan flag in Kenya. That's the power of what I'm telling you, because the white folks in America, they don't have another flag next to the American flag, which is their way of saying we just the original Americans, and that ain't true. So when we say we're the foundational Black Americans in our name, we're really trying to compete with the white folks that's trying to claim and say we found this country, and they trying to be the founding mean foundation, foundation, right? So the people that's calling themselves the founding fathers, we saying you a damn lie. We was here before you. We found it first. It's finders keepers law. So we going against ourselves when we shoot this word foundation down with black folks, bro. It's crazy.
Yes. This is a very, very big puzzle to put together, but I can definitely say many blacks here do have the $5 Indian lineages. I'm not looking down on them because I have it in my blood too. But what I'm saying is, for me to say that I'm a foundational Black American, and I have a little bit of $5 Indian blood, it's kind of like, you know, am I really?
You still don't get it, bro.
Down and
You still don't get it.
You say that again?
You don't get, see, think about this, bro.
Sanchez.
The word founding mean you found something. I don't give a damn if you had lizard blood in you. If you found it first, you the founding father originally. How that don't make sense to you? Why you keep talking about DNA? That ain't got nothing to do with the activity of finding something. Let me ask you a question. Who found America first? Hold on. Who found America first?
Hey, Sanchez, real quick, before you even go to that, just think about what my brother's saying, because it's not just him. If you notice what he's saying, if you just unpack, take the emotion out and unpack what he's saying, everybody else can have an identity but Black Americans. We're just nobody, just floating in the wind, while everybody else can have identity. He's saying that without saying it in words. Listen to what he's saying, and just step back and listen to him. And I hope he can hear himself. Go ahead, Sanchez.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. I specifically asked them that earlier. I put up all of these different groups with their flags, and everybody was like, yeah, I don't mind. See, this is what happened, George. People will say, man, when I went to Africa, it was so beautiful and diverse. Jamaicans was different, and the Kenyans had a different culture. And everyone that tell me about Africa, they make me want to go, because they say each little part of Africa is like going into a totally different world, man. It's so diverse and distinct. But then when we say, okay, let us make our own little world, people say that's division. But when they go to Africa, it's just diversity.
Because to him, based off of what he's saying, if you listen to him, when he talked about our white grandfathers, we ain't nothing but dark-skinned white men. He's not saying that in words, but he's saying that in his conversation. If you listen to him, that's why I said I'm being quiet and I'm listening to him. In this argument and what we're laying out, he's saying that we have two generations basically back white men. We are dark-skinned, nappy-head white men. So we don't have no identity outside of that. That's exactly what he's saying. I'm trying to get him to. I'm waiting for him to challenge it, because I'm listening to him talk.
No, I can challenge it very simply and very easily, and I learned it very well with my experience living in Nigeria for that month. It's a very beautiful thing, man. Why are all the people in China Chinese?
I'm listening to you. No,
I'm asking you a question. Why are all the people in China Chinese?
Because they come from generations.
They're not all just Chinese, but yeah, you got it. Go ahead.
They come from different generations of their people passed down. You're making my point even more. So go ahead, just go ahead and say that we're dark-skinned white men based off this argument you're about to make. Because if you make this argument you're making, then what you're saying is at some point we've been tainted with this white man and our fathers are white men. Say it and stop bullshitting around.
Okay, so why are all the people in India Indian?
Okay, so let me explain something to him. Bro. Let me explain.
I'm asking
I got you.
Question. He's getting a little emotional because
you don't really want that answer, because I'm trying. You don't want an answer, bro, because I'm trying to answer.
I'm not being emotional. I'm not being emotional. And what I'm telling you is I'm more intelligent than what you're asking. I don't have to do that. If you're saying, oh, why the Chinese men are Chinese, why the Indian men are Indian, then I can turn around and say, well, why aren't the so-called FBAs FBAs? You're going to say because we have mixture of the white man, like you said, because of our grandfather.
No, I did not. I did not. But did you give me an answer?
Did he say our grandfathers are two generations back with white men? Did he say that, Sanchez?
That was what he said.
Did you give me an answer, though? Did you give me an answer about why all the Chinese are Chinese?
I'm going to answer it for you again. Watch this real slow. If you're asking the brother a question, then why are the Chinese Chinese and why are the Indians Indians? Because they have generations passed down where they've been uninterrupted. So what you say, us, we have interruptions based off this white man, based off of what you're laying out. So that would make us so-called FBAs because we have this mixture in us. Go ahead. I'm listening to you
but
very
watch
well.
This,
I'm
not,
hold
on, bro.
That's the
bro, stop for a second, please. God damn it, man. Why in the hell are y'all? Listen, this is what we let him get away from. He's saying, why are all Chinese people Chinese? That ain't necessarily true. China is an umbrella term and when you go inside of China, that breaks down into different types and classes.
I knew you was gonna get them, Sanchez. I was gonna let you get them.
You see what I'm saying? So he making all that on a flawed, like half truth type thing. But I'm gonna fall back right there. We got Polo J too. He had to be corrected on that. My good exchange too.
But listen to what he's saying, Sanchez. What I'm saying, I'm trying to tell the brother, the argument that he's trying to make, I'm dealing with his argument that why are the Indians, why are the Asians? Then I can say, well, why are FBA's FBA? He'll come and say, well, you have 2 generations down, you have a white grandfather. But he's saying that the Indians and the Asians don't have that, but we do. That's what he's saying. So again, we're nappy-headed white people, based off his argument.
Some are nappy-headed white people, and this is the reason why FBA really can't work together, because they have broken lineages.
But we are working together though, so that's a lot.
Thank you.
Guess what? You ain't working with your people, because look, FBA is a whole group they calling us being divisive because we working together as a group, but now we ain't working together. Which one is it?
Right, and that's what they
how
don't
can
like.
How can you work together with people that are not your people?
Like we do. Listen, we can work together with anybody that got our agenda in mind. It's white people that's Pan-Africans, bro.
See?
What are you talking about?
That's the reason why.
Hey, Sanchez,
You can't. That's like saying the Jews can't work with other groups. If they didn't work with other groups, they wouldn't even be in power.
Hey, Sanchez,
they don't work with other groups. They put other groups in submission.
They do, and that's exactly what we need to learn to do, brother. Go ahead, you got it.
Yeah, let me say something. Brother said he went to Nigeria for a month or something like that. I've been to 4 African countries before IShowSpeed and a lot of these YouTubers that you see travel. And one thing that I'll say is that in Africa, they do not see you as being African. Now, I've been to Kenya, I've been to Tanzania, Ethiopia, and South Africa. Now,
so you've never been to West Africa?
Let him cook.
I've never been to West Africa.
And that's the problem. Let him cook.
No, bro.
It's not a
y'all
problem.
Can't do that, bro. It don't matter. It don't matter what part of Africa a man go. We want to hear his experience. It's just as relevant. He ain't just got to go to West Africa.
Way more than a month, brother. My wife is from Kenya. I was living there, working overseas for a little bit. So I got a lot of experience. I've met people, and I still got people's number and WhatsApp and all of that. But I had a good time. When I went there, I didn't feel like, oh, this is my motherland, or like I'm home. I didn't get that kind of experience where people, you said you shedding tears and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it was good. I went to the Mara, I went to the Serengeti. We took a hot air balloon over the safari. I went to the beach. We was in South Africa. I'm smoking weed. They got some good weed in Cape Town, just to point it out. And I had a good old time over there. But my only thing is that you're going to be treated differently for sure. The people know that you're not African. You can wear a dashiki and pretend and try to fit in and try to whatever, but they're going to look at you the same way we look at Africans when we see them wearing jerseys and, baseball hats and trying to look like us. It's kind of corny. So when I'm over there, I'm just being myself. I was never trying to be African. You know what I'm saying? I've met with the Maasai. We had conversations we built. I told them about the tribes in America. One thing that I know about Africa, though, they don't know nothing about America. They never even knew about tribes. I spoke to my wife's father doing dowry. We had conversations. We exchanging information and stuff like that. But one thing I noticed is that when it comes to Black Americans, we typically know more about Africa than Africans. One thing you'll know about Africans, if you ask them, what was going on? Like I asked my wife, what was happening in Kenya during like World War II or like 500, 1,000 years ago or whatever? They don't have this type of information. And that's in West Africa, South and East Africa. Ethiopia is a little bit different. They know certain things about their history. But to me, it's like, we watch things on TV, National Geographic. I knew about the Maasai before I went there. So it's kind of already like, well-versed on like what I'm going to see. But it wasn't like, oh, this is home or like everybody cool. You do have people there that do not like Americans. They'll see you from a distance, or it could be an Uber driver. You could tell by their attitude, and certain things they'll do is they'll try to rip you off. They're not going to treat you and give you the same price that they would give someone that's Kenyan. And that was one problem I used to have a lot of times going around is people just trying to play you like you just gonna be paying extra or 10 extra for simple things. But you know, at the end of the day, it's not like I hate Africans because my wife is African, but I know and understand, and she know and understand, and also respects FBA about what's going on over here. So it's like, you know, she's in full support of FBA, you know, and that's just what it is. Sure.
Can I ask you a question real quick? I don't want to interrupt, but I just need to ask you a question.
Yep.
What made you decide to go to East Africa as opposed to West Africa?
To be honest, it came down to things to do. Kenya has way more to do. I'm thinking like, what am I going to do in Ghana, in Nigeria? When I was looking up Kenya, I'm like, damn, they got a safari, they got a beach, okay, the nightlife, they speak English. The English is part of their national language. I'm not trying to like countries like Ethiopia, you can't even read nothing. You know, it's different. And then also when I'm speaking to the women, I felt like I connected more with the Kenyans. I was speaking to Ethiopians and other people from different places before I decided I'm going to go to Kenya. That's a good question. And I felt like when I was speaking to Ethiopian girls, they were a little bit too shy and too quiet. You know, I want to hear more like talk. I'm about to fly over there. Like you ain't saying nothing. You know, I'm speaking to girls in other places, even Madagascar. But then when it came to Kenya, their English was much clearer, and it was like I felt like I know Nigerians, right? Two of my neighbors are Nigerians. You see them everywhere. I live in the East Coast. I'm from West Baltimore. I know Ethiopians, but Kenya was a little bit different because I didn't know them as much. So it kind of piqued my interest at the same time. And because they had like an economy and better internet, like I'm hearing things about other countries in South Africa and other places, they don't have like, it just seemed like they were more stable and more tech savvy. So I'm like, let me go here. This makes more sense.
Right. The comfortability and familiarity with infrastructure was what made you go over there. That comfortability. Now, what I could say that I've noticed from watching all the YouTube videos, the difference. I've only been to West Africa, just one little part. Now, I could say one of the differences that I've noticed is East Africa would be like our grandfather's house, meaning it's all set up, it's well put together, got the car garage, got the phones, got the internet, got everything. But then when you go to your grandmother's house, maybe the grandfather ain't there no more. Maybe he's gone and passed, or she's a widow or whatever have you. When you go to your grandmother's house, that is the place where you really connect with the people. And I've noticed this with everyone traveling. They're not traveling to West Africa because they're like, oh, the infrastructure isn't that well. That's not completely true. But I could say that East Africa infrastructure is much more durable in many senses. But I will tell you, just from my experience, West Africa is grandma's house. That's where it's a little funky. It's a little the grass don't grow all the way all the time. You know, there's good places in Nigeria. There's like very, very luxurious places in Nigeria, just like in East Africa. But from me experiencing that experience that I had, it was just like going to South Carolina to my grandmother's house. You know, it's a little dusty, it's a little funky. It's not,
Grandmama house
it
ain't
ain't all
funky.
put together that well, but
No, I'm confused. Grandmama house was always put together well and funky. When she ain't had nothing, the house was clean and it was food. What are you talking about? That ain't grandmama house. I don't know what you talking about. That ain't Big Mama house.
Well, for my grandparents,
when I
for
was
my
in
grandmother,
Kenya,
her house wasn't all put together well.
Yeah, we got different grandparents then, because Big Mama kept everything clean with nothing.
And that's what we're saying. We different people with different lineages, different That's exactly right.
There we go. That's why I said in America, there's a tribalism kind of thing going on too, where some groups of blacks in America
bro, hold on,
very affluent.
time out, bro. He just said it's a
Some blacks
tribalism
in
thing.
America actually own
It's a
slaves.
tribalism thing in the whole world, bro.
Did the Nigerians see you as one of them?
Yes, they thought I was from the north. They thought I was
Really?
they thought I was Fulani. They thought I was Fulani, but I was in Lagos. So Lagos is south.
You don't speak that language, and you American. You obviously they can listen to your accent.
No, I can speak.
I ain't Nigerian.
No, from my Gullah Geechee dialect, I can speak and understand Pidgin to a measure. for sure. So the pidgin English that they have in Nigeria is very similar to the Gullah Geechee that you find in South Carolina.
So let me
Not
ask
the
you this,
Georgia
right?
Gullah Geechee, but the South Carolina Gullah Geechee, the coastal island people. Our English is like the pidgin English in Nigeria. They have some of the same exact phrases.
Why do you think Nigerians, like when they're here in America, why don't they mix with black folks? Like they'll have their own kind of like clubs and groups, and they'll like deny black Americans from joining and things like that.
They'll put
But in
out fake
No,
Nigeria, you
businesses
they
in
see,
our
don't deny
neighborhood.
them. They don't deny them. I was
yes, they
actually
do.
invited to,
Yeah, they do, bro.
I was invited to join an organization from Nigeria. I'll tell you the
They got
biggest
this
reason
group
that
called, they got this
Nigerians
app
have
called
this.
Meetup, right? And in Meetup, they have different, you can make groups and stuff. They'll have a Ghana group, a Nigerian group. And if they see you, when they see your photo and you try to join, they see like, oh, he ain't fucking African. They deny you. And I even asked one on why you blocked me. But then what's crazy, when they got the Black American group or the Baltimore professional group, you see all these Africans in there and nobody denied them from joining.
Facts. Big facts.
Right. That's fine though. Listen, the reason,
But
this
it
is what
ain't
you
fine
guys
though,
have to
bro. It
understand.
ain't fine though. That's why
Yes,
FBA
it is
exists.
fine.
No,
And it's
FBA
a
exists because it ain't fine. Because we don't
it's
fuck
a
with that.
good.
That's why we
It
exist.
is. Listen, it is a great reason for them
You need to listen, bro. You the
delineating
I
only
from
one
got
Black
confused.
Africans all in my
Americans.
neighborhood, bro. They all in the East Coast, bro. I
I'm
just
from
fought one of
Baltimore
them
too. Hey, Shorty.
Nigerians
Hey,
a
Shorty. I'm
few
from
months
Baltimore
ago.
too. My family from Cherry Hill, so we know about them Africans. We on the East
I
Coast of
lived in
America.
Cherry Hill, right in
You
the
know what I'm
middle.
Okay,
saying?
it's
We know
perfectly
about them
fine. But
Africans.
do you see the reason why they would delineate from Black Americans in Baltimore?
But they got to keep the same energy.
No,
You
I
saying
don't.
they
Do you
all loving
see
in
the
No, I
Africa?
condition?
don't
Hold
see
They
how
on,
you
not
can
all
hold
come
on,
over
loving in
here and
Africa, though.
exploit.
hold
No,
on, hold
time
on,
out.
hold
Let me
on.
answer, bro. No, I don't. I wouldn't go nowhere, exploit all the goddamn resources, and then count up all the things I don't like about somebody. Then I
You
wouldn't
don't
bring my
have
ass
any
over there.
resources. You don't have any
Then what,
resources in
nigga?
Baltimore.
Then why are these
What
Africans in
resources do
my
you have in
neighborhood?
Baltimore?
What
We
you
got
mean?
money. What you talking about?
There's money in
What you
Baltimore.
talking about?
What
Y'all
resources do
braiding
you
Maryland
have in
around.
got
This nigga
the
Baltimore?
top
said,
highest
y'all
living in
braid. Hold
America,
on, time
bro.
out. Y'all
Maryland
braiding
and DC.
everybody here. This nigga dumb, bro. Y'all braiding
I know,
everybody
right?
here.
You could
Y'all
be
braiding
paying
I would
everybody
like
here.
to
$1,600 a
know.
month to live in the
Y'all
slums
trying
in
to sell
Baltimore.
nasty ass
What you
food
talking
to
about,
us. What you talking about, bro? All small entrepreneurship go to foreigners and Africans in these neighborhoods. And so real people that on the East Coast of America that's been here for 400 years, we don't be having access to it because Africans put their ass in the front of the line and then they try to sell and exploit shit to us while you talk about what resources. Go ask all them Africans what resources we got. The ones that they motherfucking
No,
spending
I'm
that y'all think
asking
is
you,
so rich.
what resources do blacks have in the city of Baltimore? What
Nigga,
resources do
green
blacks
money. Do you know
run?
what value is? Money. The money from their paycheck. That's a resource. Or is it not?
So you're going to go work for the white man,
No.
and
You said
that's
no.
supposed to be
You said
your
what resource,
resource.
bro? You said what resource? Stop
You
changing the
acting like there
goalposts.
ain't no black owners in
Sanchez,
Baltimore.
where you at,
Nah, bro.
Sanchez?
No. Stop talking about ownership because this nigga dumb. He said, what
Yeah.
resources are they stealing? They
See, calling
stealing
me
the
out of my
money out the
name,
paycheck.
calling me
Hey,
out of
brother
my name.
Sanchez, brother
Don't do that.
Sanchez,
Have respect, brother.
where
You
you
can't
at,
keep saying
Sanchez?
dumb shit and be respected.
Have
I'm gonna treat
respect. It's
respect with
not dumb.
respect.
It's not
You
dumb.
just said niggas from Baltimore ain't got no resources. One of
You
the
don't
oldest cities
have
in
any
America.
resources. What
Boy,
resources
that's
do you
why
have?
you
Give
a
me one
motherfucking
resource that
fool.
you have
We
in
got Coppin State
you
Hey,
University.
said
We
work
hey,
got Morgan
labor.
State
Hold
hey,
University.
on, time
We
Sanchez,
out.
where
got
you at,
programs.
Sanchez?
Hold
Come
on,
to
We
the
time
got
out,
court.
time out,
programs
time
where
out,
you can
time out.
take
Work
Hey
labor.
cybersecurity classes for
no.
free if you live in Baltimore. We
This
got a
nigga
lot of
acting like
resources out
this
here.
nigga acting like money ain't a resource. Black Americans
It's
got
not a
money.
resource. Your labor is a resource, but you don't own anything. You don't have any
Nigga, money is a
minerals.
resource.
You
Cash, you
don't
fucking
have
dumbass.
minerals.
Have
You
you
don't
ever,
have
do you know what
oil.
finance is?
You don't
Do you know
have
what
shea
finance?
butter.
See, y'all talk about shit
I
that,
guarantee
yeah,
you the shea butter you
and
buy is from Africans, right?
here's
Or
what
is
I
it from
guarantee you.
people in
Here's what I
Baltimore
guarantee
that
you.
got shea butter that they grown in their
Here's what I
backyard, right?
guarantee you.
You off topic
Let's
now.
let's play big bank, little bank
So
with
you're calling me
W2s.
dumb,
Hey,
Let's play big bank,
hey,
little bank with
can I
W2s.
but you
can I
don't have any
steer?
resources.
Y'all niggas ain't
Hold
never
up a
been nowhere.
second, bro.
That's not who y'all talking about. Y'all talking to a real nigga that's been somewhere. You don't know what you talking
Hey,
about.
Sanchez, when you
Resources,
done, I
nigga,
got a
be money.
question for you,
I had
Sanchez.
Money is
When you
stepped I
done.
resources.
stepped away for like the last 1 minute, so I don't know what's going on.
Hey,
But yes,
hey,
salute
Sanchez,
to
I
you.
got a question for you, Sanchez. I need you to
Yeah,
help me with something and based off this conversation.
I'm
Let's
with
just
it.
separate the vibe from the job real quick. I need you to help me. So listen, the brother said, let's just take it straight back, and just deal with it from right here. The brother said that a lot of us can't be FBA because 2 generations back, we got white grandfather, right? White,
Mhm.
and then he gave the analogy of why are Chinese Chinese, why are Indians Indians, as opposed to they've been uninterrupted and their bloodlines are run straight through pure. So if he's up here talking to black people and he's made that statement based off of that statement that he made, majority of us would be descendants of white men, right? That's what he's telling
Yeah.
us, right?
Yep.
So why are
That's
we
what
even
he's
talking
telling
to
us.
him? He don't even see us as black. We're nappy-headed crackers. That's what he's calling us without saying it. Listen to what he's saying. If we just take
But
the
if
emotion
you
out,
simplify it too, let's just simplify it.
that's what
Yeah.
he's calling us.
And he
Take
need
all the
to stand
emotion
on
out
it. Yeah.
and stand on it. That's what I'm saying. Just say we are nappy-headed crackers. Stand on what you're saying
Yeah.
as a man. You said it.
Yeah.
I did not say that. I said you can't be a foundational. Foundation to me means the foundation. Like when you building a house, you
Because
got to create the
why can't we
foundation
be?
first, right?
Because our
You have
ancestry
to
is of
create.
white men.
Hold on. You have hold on. Take your time. You have to create the foundation before you build a house, right?
Bro, shut up. You just said more dumb shit in a smart
I
tone.
ain't gonna
Shut your
lie, he
dumb ass
did,
up,
bro.
You
bro.
see what
Shut
I'm
the fuck
saying?
up,
You
my
see how
Hey,
you
nigga.
listen.
guys are
You a
going.
dumb.
This
Watch
is the
this,
reason
bro.
why. This is the
Watch
reason
Nah,
why.
this.
you gotta
Hold on,
clean
hold on,
it
hold
up.
on,
This
hold
is the
on, hold
reason.
on, hold on. Don't listen. You can't take what Joshua doing and put that on FBA. Different people gonna react differently. I'd have been on Pan-African panels where certain Pan-Africans go hard. They gonna do worse than what Josh doing. And so, bro, don't use that to cry. Let's just stay on point and
Yeah,
deal
he cried.
with
He
the
being
facts. You know what I'm
disrespectful too.
saying?
I'm
You
only
see how you trying
disrespecting
to
because
clean
he
it up?
being disrespectful. Because he
Hey,
being
fellas.
disrespectful.
Hey, all the fellas on
Yeah.
the panel, make him stand on what he said. He
Yeah.
said, because this is what he said in his words. He said that we couldn't be FBA because two
Yeah.
generations down, we have white ancestry. So we can't be that. So if we have that, then that what he's saying is, if he's using that analogy and turning around and saying, why are Chinese Chinese, why are Indians Indians, then it would apply that what he's saying is that we're white men. Would that be here? Our ancestry go back,
And
our ancestors are white people would not
and,
be here. That's what he's saying.
and we just can't move forward because he just won't just be man enough to stand on it. You're gonna keep
Right.
repeating what you said when he just
Mm-hmm.
simplifying. It's the same thing George saying. I don't know how you think it's different, but yeah, man, it's holding up. It's
It's
holding
pseudo,
us up
bro.
right here.
Pseudo
Yeah.
intellectual. Yeah. He also
Oh
said
So
man.
money ain't no
so
resource. He also
Yeah,
said
that
money
joint
ain't
is
no
pretty
resource.
bad. Pretty bad, fellas. This is the
he came up here and really
This
tried to
nigga dumb, yo.
really reach on. It's really nothing they can really intelligent articulate on what's wrong with FBA. They just can't. I'm just
I
trying to.
told you FBA is made up of different ethnic groups in America amongst blacks.
Hey, bro, let
Some
me ask you a question.
black
Let me ask
people
you.
ain't
This
all
is.
the way black. Some
Let me
black
ask you
people
a
ain't all
question.
the way
But
black.
hold up.
Do you know how to?
Here's my thing though. You don't think Jamaicans got different ethnicities among
That's what
their
I'm
ranks?
saying. You
Because
know what the
some
I
people.
problem with
know
these people are?
the quote of Jamaica is a nation out of many. So there's many different nations in Jamaica.
So
I
my
know
thing
that.
is anything you say why we shouldn't delineate don't change the fact that other groups face those same realities and they still delineate. So why should we stop?
Well, one thing we should be very cautious of those that do have the mixed blood that come in to destroy,
And I'm
that
gonna
come
tell
in
you
to
right,
protect
and I'm
their
gonna tell you what.
grandfather's lineages.
I will say this. We should definitely look for the wolves in sheep clothes, and we should look for the people that's just undermining the agenda and looking for any reason to go against FBA too. I ain't gonna lie now.
Facts.
And let's keep it 100 because I noticed this. I have family members that are in the Greek groups, and I noticed that they only select certain lineages of people to be in those Greek organizations. And the reason why is because their grandfathers go back to guess what?
But why are we
A
talking
half
Here we
a
about
go
nigga.
Greek
again.
This
A
nigga
organizations
Here we
though?
dumb.
go.
half a
Why?
nigga.
Why?
Now he
A
just
Why
half
are
a
making
we
shit
nigga.
up,
talking?
bro.
You can
This
Why
get
are
nigga
a
we,
lying.
bro? Why? Hold up, bro. You don't think that there are Haitians who are Freemasons, Haitians or Jamaicans who are Boule members or Kappas? They
no,
still delineate.
I know that there are. I know that there are, but I have noticed that there is a delineation in between those groups as well. Am I lying?
So
That's why
every
I'm
group,
saying.
You've been lying the whole time.
I don't think he really understand what he's saying. But
Y'all know exactly what I'm saying. There's some black people, y'all have heard of the saying, just because you brown doesn't mean you're down. Okay,
Yo, my
so
wife
we
is
just gonna keep
alpha
it like
chapter.
that.
My
Just because
wife
you
is an
brown doesn't mean
alpha
you
chapter.
bad.
but what
My wife is an alpha chapter Delta, bro. We live in DC. I've been in Baltimore for 400 years. I don't know what the fuck you talking about.
You
And
said you
having
guys have
weight.
been there for 400 years.
My family, I'm talking about my family, not my wife's, my paternal family, yes, has been here for a long ass time.
Paternal.
Paternal meaning on my
Like
father's
your
side.
mother's
That's
lineage.
no. Paternal with a P means father. That's what paternal means. With a P, it means
Said
like
your
patronage.
father's lineage. You said, hold on, this joint was breaking up a little bit. Somebody was calling in. You said your father's lineage
My
is
father's lineage
400 years.
been here for 400 years. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay, so you do know the chances of you being mixed a little bit is very high, right?
I know, dummy. That's what we
I
saying.
think,
That's what make us
hold on.
FBA.
Let's
Crazy as hell.
simplify. Let's
You just said a Jamaican is made of many. That's what make a
right.
Jamaican fool. That's what we saying.
That's
What make
crazy.
us FBA.
But
The
you know what's crazy about what he's saying? You can't point to one single human walking this earth that ain't mixed unless they some kind of incestuous
That's what I'm
group
saying.
of beings that maintain their original blood since the beginning of time. The whole conversation is stupid because it no matter who the fuck you are at this point, humans are just mixed at this point, bro. Period. You ain't gonna find a pure-blooded motherfucker walking around. Y'all crazy if you think you are.
You think them Igbos ain't never intermarried with the other tribes? Come on, bro. That's what we saying though. We just raising up our own banner and our own flag. That's all we saying. And then y'all come with disrespect.
It's not disrespect. It's just being real about the movement and protecting the movement.
But you
If
ain't
you're gonna have
being
a
real
movement,
about it though, bro. And
if
this
you're
ain't
gonna have
protecting
a
it for real.
movement,
You can't protect the
if you're
movement and we all white men. You saying we all white men.
I never said that.
You
I
did say
never
it.
said we're all white men. I said that many of us that are black in America have white ancestry. So
If
you
our
can't
ancestors
be,
were white
how can you
ancestors,
be the foundation if you mix with two different types of concrete?
That's so
what the
crazy right there.
oh my
That is
God. See,
crazy as
again,
hell right there.
see, see,
That's crazy as
see?
hell right
You
there.
got two different types of concrete to build your foundation for your
Can I
house.
ask you
Shit
a
ain't gonna
question?
be right.
Let's take what he said, right? Now, according to the rules that they use the one drop rule by law. We didn't make it this what they did in the past, right? They wanted the pure-blooded white race. They said if you got just a little bit of Negro blood, you're a Negro, right? But the thing is this. If we're mixed with white people and y'all say we are the original dominant genetic group, why do we keep saying mixture and we try to come with this dominant ideology? Either the gene is gonna dominate or it's gonna mix with it, but it can't be both. And I'll say this, so y'all gotta pick one. I don't really agree, but I'm just showing y'all the flaw in what goes with y'all ideologies. The whole thing is this. If white folks mutated from black people, that ain't a mixture, that's a mutation. Let's go and walk your theory back to its roots so you can understand why you're wrong. It ain't that we mix with them sexually, because prior to that, they had already branched up off of our genetics through mutation. So that the whole situation, if you really want to break it down, ain't really mixing. It's kind of incest. It's kind of black folks. In that case, if you want to look at it on a genetic level and deal with science, you're directly related to these folks if they genetically branch from you. So now you just mating with family members if you want to really go. Let's talk about it. Like, it ain't just me saying it. It's the reality of it. It's the reality of it. If we're going to deal with these ideologies, this is the truth of what we're saying. I'm just laying it out so we can deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's deal with it, Sanchez. So all the Chinese in China are Chinese. All the Indians in India are Indian. All the Pakistanis are Pakistani. All the Afghanistanians are Afghani. So does this make it that they was doing incest? Because they kind of all do look alike.
Listen what I'm telling you. I didn't say that. I didn't say that they was doing incest. You need to learn to listen, brother. What I said was this. You said it when you said we mixed with the white man, because we would have been mixing with our late descendants who came from our DNA. They're just a mutated black man. That's going over your head, brother.
Mm, No, no, it's not. I'm saying when you get into the tribal thing or the family lineage thing, then it does take a turn. That's why if you as a black man, as a FBA, if you go and grab an Indian woman from India, the likelihood of them accepting your child is going to be like 0%, maybe like
You know why?
1-2% might accept your child.
You know why? Because they're
I know
practicing.
exactly
You know
why.
what?
The
Let
same
me
thing for
tell you
child.
why, bro. Because they're practicing delineation. That's it. They're practicing delineation. They're being specific about who can be accepted among their group or not. They got a screening process. Am I lying?
Nah, you speaking facts. That's why I said. That's
So,
why the FBA is not going to be able to get
so
that
I'm
drive that
trying
they
to
need
see.
because they're not willing to
I'm
do that
trying
to
to
the other
see how.
nations.
This is what I'm saying right here, brother. Delineation means we're screening who accepted among our group. And guess what? If a black man marries a white woman and his mixed baby and his family got a black plight in the mind, because you got to remember that this country is patriarchal, which is why Kamala Harris can be married to a Jewish man and not have black people's plight in mind, because she gonna be about her family and her husband. She don't think black. She's married who she's with. Listen what I'm telling you. Don't undermine patriarchy. What I'm saying is, if a black man in FBA decide to get with a white woman, but he's on his FBA shit, he's not finna let his wife undermine that, because I'm sure it's some foundational black Americans that's got different color women and shit. And I'm sure those women are on point about what they saying and all that. You know, I just saw an interracial couple get beat up together by the damn police because the white girlfriend started hitting on the police for jumping on her black boyfriend. She damn near got killed. They both got tased. I said, damn, she going hard for the BBC. Hold on, let me stop though.
Hey, look, I seen a video today talking about interracial fatigue. Now they making videos about interracial fatigue. Look, I don't have no problem with Big Bubba saying, Tyreek cannot marry my daughter Becky. I don't have any problem with that. The problem is the FBA is like, oh, we'll accept anyone. We can bring Shin
That ain't
Jong
what we
Sheen.
saying,
She
bro.
can
Think
have
about this.
she can have all our
Let me ask you a
grandbabies. That's
question,
what the
brother.
problem is.
What make
That's the
you think?
problem.
What make you think? And this here go the problem right here. The problem is you just making up narratives and making up shit. Can I get an amen, chat room? Because what make this brother think FBA is accepting anybody when people literally calling the shit a cult because we won't accept nobody? People say they don't want to be Africans. They don't want to be Nigerian. Right, we want to be our own group. How is that accepting everybody? We're accepting ourselves right now. The hell?
Okay, so let me ask you: Can a FBA say that there's a
Let me ask
white?
you something real quick. Can an African be white?
Yes, there are white Africans.
Are you pushing Pan-Africanism? Just a question. Are you pushing Pan-Africanism?
To some measure, it's not in the way that everyone would think.
Because white people and Asian people can be Africans, are you gonna stop pushing Pan-Africanism? It's just a question.
Well, you said can you repeat
I'm not
that?
asking. I'm telling you that there are Asians who are Africans, and there are white men who are Africans. Should you stop pushing Pan-Africanism because of that?
Should I stop pushing?
Right.
I don't push Pan-Africanism.
No,
I don't push Pan-Africanism.
Nah, you want to see what I'm saying? But let me answer this way then. If a person is a Pan-African, would that be a reason for a Pan-African to stop pushing it then? Let's go with that question.
No, if they don't have lineage to Africa, like 3 generations, they don't need to be in. They don't need to get in. They need to be on the outskirts. They can support from a distance, but they can't be in the inner circle.
You don't understand what I'm asking you. You just said that white people can be Africans, Asians can be Africans. The point is, it didn't stop us from identifying as Africans. All of your arguments right now are based upon other people infiltrating our ranks. And I've been giving you plenty of examples of how that don't stop no group from delineating. That's like saying we ain't gonna build a house because it can be broken into.
No, it could be more like we can't build a house because they got two different types of concrete and the concretes don't mix.
But brother, the thing is this right here. I don't understand if you say black people are mixed with whites, then you turn around and say they don't mix. Which the one the fuck is it, man? You confusing the hell out of me. You keep saying black folks are mixed with the white man, then you just said we ain't mixed, man. Let's go to Jamrock real quick though. Just let's hear this from somebody else. It's getting confusing for real. I don't know if you just talking to talk or what. But Jamrock, your hands raised, man. Let's skip over to you. And I'm confused, man. Like, I don't know which one you saying for real. If we don't mix, then we was arguing for nothing the whole time, man.
Stupid.
That's what I was telling you about the dominant gene theory. Either it mixes or it dominates. You're double talking. Is it just me, chat room? Jamrock, what's good with you though, brother? Salutes. You gotta hit your unmute button. If not, then we can leave the flow open for whoever wanted. I was just
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Am I live? Good. I'm driving, but I had to call in. You know, so I'm Jamaican, and it really frustrates me to listen to that Gullah Geechee guy. You know, talking all this nonsense. I support FBA. You have to support FBA. It's selfish not to do so.
Come on.
He has a really false notion of history. He thinks Africans are not mixed. That's not the case. Just pull up for me Gold Coast Euro Africans. Pull that up for me. Gold Coast Euro Africans in Google.
Okay.
We gotta demonstrate Gold Coast Euro Africans. Euro African, the European.
Gotcha.
So these are Europeans who are the ruling classes who mixed it into the Africans and became the ruling classes. He also doesn't know that it's
the key word. That's the key word. Classism. Classism.
I want to go.
Exactly.
Can I go to this image here? This one looks interesting. Are these Gold Coast Euro Africans right here?
You're not sharing it.
Oh, let me share this.
I can't see the screen because I'm not on the YouTube, so I can't see the screen. I'm driving.
I'm about to share it with everyone because
right.
I want to see if this the people that are we talking about, because they look like black Americans a little bit, but yeah.
Exactly. So I'm going to tell you also, Lagos, Nigeria was built by black Brazilians. Black Brazilians made up 9% of Nigeria in the 1800s. Google, when you finish with that, Google Afro-Brazilian architecture in Nigeria.
Afro-Egyptian.
Brazilian. Afro-Brazilian architecture.
My bad.
Architecture in Nigeria.
My typing skills.
There's a Nigerian festival called the Fante Festival, which is Afro-Brazilian.
This is
These
Tartarian.
people have been there for a long time.
This is Tartarian architecture, bro.
Exactly.
This is
our people.
Yeah.
This is our people.
Damn, bro. This is Tartarian shit.
Do you see how the brothers earlier were saying that African Nigerians they be kicking us out of the group, but we're all one big family?
Also, Google Jamaican bread in Nigeria, because there's a Jamaican baker who brought the bread to Nigeria. So let's Google that. It will give you the name.
Is that agege bread?
Yes. That's from a Jamaican guy called Shackelford.
It's almost like cocoa bread, but they call it.
It's American hard-dough bread, because you see,
agege bread. Yes, best bread.
What he doesn't understand. What he doesn't understand.
Rolls.
Exactly. It's American. Black Americans, black people from the West Indies from Brazil when the colonists used to build West Africa. Okay, look at Shida Bay Mosque, Afro-Brazilian Shida Bay Mosque, because a lot of Africans are Muslim. All the mosques, the early mosques, were built by especially Brazilians.
I'm just making up something now. I don't know how to spell it, but how you
Shida
say
Bay, Shittaa, Bay, as in the Moors always say Bay, Bey, Mosque, Nigeria. So say
Gotcha.
Shida Bay Mosque, Nigeria. and put Brazil and Google will show you.
Damn, bro. Listen, I'm doing a whole lecture on Tartarian presence in Africa. I already got my slides lined up, bro. I'm telling you. Because this is an extension. This is proof that we had one world empire.
Exactly.
It wasn't no different.
Exactly. The way to see it, Sanchez, is look at the largest fort in the Western Hemisphere was built by the Haitians. We know that to be true, right? The largest fort in the Western Hemisphere, I forgot what it's called. It's on top of a mountain. It was built by Haiti when fighting France.
Can't nobody
so we have the
deny us
capability.
This, because look, remember the people that said they founded America was having mud and straw rooftops for their houses. So they can't claim none of these buildings. See, all of that Victorian architecture, like, let me show y'all something. Watch this. And I ain't just claiming it for black people. I'm saying black people were part of a big ass interconnected worldwide empire of multiple skin tones, if you will, that was worldwide. It was like a new world order, United Nations type shit, but in a good way. But look, Pilgrims didn't build this. The same people that had the hammers and chisels claiming this style of architecture all around the world. Guess what? I got some current research right now, right? That the Vatican didn't build none of this beautiful architecture all around the world. The Vatican is more of an old real estate company that squatted on the most Victorian, luxurious properties after the reset. And these people ain't build none of that. Even the Bible say they the synagogue of Satan. And they ain't the real people who was up in these temples. They changed Christianity to paganism. The real Christianity was about receiving free energy from the heavens, not looking up in the sky to a white man. They changed it around. These temples are energy generators, and they just up in there teaching pseudoscience and fairy tales and miracle magician type stuff, you know, and it I ain't gonna go into all that, but I just wanted to show like all of the Vatican architecture is Tartarian too. We can't sleep on that.
You see that? So look up, because I wanted to show you, like, people are not thinking properly. Google Sylvanus Olympio, Sylvanus Olympio, like Olympics, Olympio.
And it say that this was built at the end of the 1800s, bro. This mosque that you're talking about.
Oh,
and
this is like nothing, but there's a lot of beautiful. Google, the current president of Nigeria is Tinubu. It's Tinubu. Google Tinubu Square. Google Tinubu Square, Brazilian.
Spell it for me. Sorry.
Tinubu, the current president is Tinubu. Tinuba. Google will correct you. Tinubu Square, Brazilian. Just Google that. Tinubu Square, Nigeria, Brazilian. Just Google that and it'll show you.
I got you. I'm looking at it now.
So the current president is Tinubu, from the Tinubu family, right? And that Tinubu Square, it was knocked down in 2016. It was built by Brazilian. You see?
Let me go here.
Because the Americans really did a lot of work. They from the Caribbean and from North America, from Canada and the US. We did more work in Sierra Leone. We built Sierra Leone and we built Liberia. But the Brazilian they used Brazilian to build Nigeria, to build it up totally.
And it's just building like this at the end of the 1800s, and when there was other people with dirt roads and wood shacks, man. So this shows you the difference between these groups, you know.
Hey, Sanchez, and I'm driving right now.
Shout out to you. Go ahead. You go.
Yeah, I'm in a truck right now, so if my static is like messed up, and you know, but I want to add one thing to tie like the both topics together. You should really look into the whole colonization of South Africa in regards to the Afrikaners. That's Elon Musk people, right? They're like a collection of the Dutch and the British and those type of guys, but their history is very interesting. Their whole history, because you know, like those weren't the Europeans that eventually encountered Shaka Zulu, but they did encounter that tribe over there, and their whole story doesn't really, you know, line up, because according to the narrative, they were sent there to settle South Africa because they were being persecuted in Europe, and they pretty much ran out of space, or it was so bad in Europe that they had to like find a new land. And they had a whole religion where it told them to go to South Africa and set up their colony and everything. And when they got there, the way when you read a lot of their journals, they talk about how it was primitive and there was nothing over there, and Shaka Zulu's tribe was a bunch of jungle dwelling people. But yet when you actually read the history, they lost to the Zulus. You know what I'm saying? So I'm of the opinion, and here's another thing too, like back then they had all these star forts in South Africa. Them people were like pilgrims. So we know that they didn't build the star forts over there. So it's just very interesting, like when a lot of these Europeans talk about how Europe is like the most advanced, yet they had to leave Europe and they had to settle in all these other areas, especially in Africa. You know what I'm saying? So you should really look into like the history of South Africa. You know what I'm saying? Because another thing too, I'm just gonna throw that out there. It may not mean nothing. Elon Musk is from South Africa. And there's a lot of stuff going on in South Africa too. And they have a lot of Tartarian buildings over there. A whole lot. But I'm gonna land with that, man. Maybe you could like do some more research on it and figure out what's going on over there.
So Sanchez, I pull up for me because I want to show evidence, right? You can make up theories, but I want to show evidence. Google Sylvanus Olympio, Sylvanus Olympio. So he was the president of Togo, the African country. He was assassinated in the 1960s, I think. But he is a black Brazilian. His family is Brazilian, and he was ruling an African country. So whoever is denying that the Africans are mixed in and we're there, they need to go back and do their research.
And see, the whole thing is they trying to make it like FBA was denying that when we wasn't. We was just specifying basically practicing tribalism.
To correct you, Sanchez, not to cut you, but we are not. I'm Jamaican, and I know I can tell you like 8 generations, right? I haven't found any African in my line. I expected to. I haven't found any. I went to my grandma like last year. Went to my grandma and asked her. I said, "Wait a minute, she's in her 90s." I said, "Are we Africans? Did they teach you this in school?" She said, "No." She said, "Where you heard that from?"
Wow.
You know. And she told me where my family's buried. Like she said, "Oh, that grave back there in your uncle's yard. That's your great grandma.
Mm-hmm.
That's your second great grandma back there." You know.
Yep. But see, you're not gonna find any Africans in the Caribbean because.
What about the father's lineage? Why is everyone always talking about their grandmother's lineage?
Well, I know both sides. I know both sides, and nothing traced to Africa. I expected it because Jamaicans, the music, they propagandize us with a lot of African stuff.
Oh, you're never
and love African the music.
Yeah,
but it's not true.
You're not gonna find Africans in the Caribbean. Even when you go back to the 1500s when the conquistadors was going over there, the natives they were encountering, the Arawaks and the Caribs, those were they started calling them Africans because of how they looked.
Exactly.
There was never any evidence that they actually came from Africa. They were doing what they call in the conscious community lookership. They were just
Lookership.
looking at the person and labeling them things.
Brother came up here doing that earlier, man. He said, I've been to Africa and it made me want to cry when I saw people that look like me. And I'm like, bro, I've been to Brooklyn and I saw people that look like me from all over and they ain't black. You know what I'm saying? I had a culture shock in Brooklyn, nigga. Like,
yeah, and that's why I would like guys, and I don't want to call this dude name out, but like with brother Ankh, who act like he's some master scientist, and he keeps quoting these guys. Back then, they were just doing lookership. Craniology is lookership. The whole labeling of the races that they were doing is all lookership. They were going by phenotypes. There was no scientific data that they were putting in to any of these calculations. They were just looking at you, and if your skin color was dark, you were
right.
African. And that's pretty much it.
And they the main ones like to use the word lookership, and they turn around and do it. They do that.
Sanchez, do me a favor, because if we're Africans, we would have African stuff, you know, African foods, African culture, right?
Yep.
Because they didn't ship the Africans here by UPS, you know, with no culture, you know?
Right.
They ship a people with a culture.
Right.
We have nothing in Jamaica or in the Americas, Black American, as African. Nothing. No melon seed soup or any of that stuff. Nothing.
John Rock.
But
yeah,
I do wanna get back to the South Africa thing too, because there's no greater evidence for the Tartarian stuff than it is. Because first of all, I know y'all probably have heard of the ancient Zimbabwe city that they found that was all stone, that to this day they don't really know how they were able to build it. I'm of the belief that a lot of those ancient cities in Africa, they actually pillaged it and moved it over to Europe. Because we know right now, like in a lot of these European museums, they have a lot of the African artifacts. But when you go and you look at a lot of the maps in South Africa, they have all these star forts, like intricate star forts and castles and things like that. And we know that Elon Musk people never built anything. I believe they found advanced ancient cities over there, and what they did was they started to hoard the technology of what they found. And that's how they were able to build a lot of these companies to this day, using a lot of those ancient technologies. And I remember another thing too. I remember I was watching this ancient alien documentary on the History Channel back when everybody was on that ancient alien nonsense. And the Eric Van Daniken, he was talking about how they found uranium in South Africa. Now, uranium is used for nuclear weapons. So it's a lot going on over there that they're not telling you about. And out of nowhere, Elon and his family. Go ahead.
Let me say one thing. I did a whole lecture on this site right here. I didn't know that this site in Africa, you just brought up the ancient Zimbabwe city that they discovered. And this site is apparently near that. Yeah, it's the Great Zimbabwe, something like that. I didn't know this was so. Yeah, I spoke about this, and I didn't know.
It's a lot right there to unpack, man.
And see,
I'm giving you homework right now. I'm saying,
but see,
trust me.
Listen, I had a lecture called "The Early Origins of Christianity in Africa," and I spoke about this site right here. But here's something I want to point out. You notice how it's underground because it's an old mud flood city. Just like in America, it's a lot of shit under the ground. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This shit was this show us that the mud flood shit was worldwide, and the same symbols and architecture in Tartaria we see Christian crosses. But I don't think it meant nothing about a savior. It was just like instruments and the symbol that they use to pull the energy from the ether.
Hey, Sanchez,
You know,
It was a global empire for sure.
yeah, hell yeah.
And Christianity is a psyop to cover it up. The Vatican, what they did was they went in and they gobbled up all of the technology and they hid it away, and they are presenting it to us like it has something to do with Christianity, when really it's some old Ethereum technology they're dealing with.
Exactly. Those crosses at the top of the church were antenna that was used to create electricity. But today they telling us, oh, they was worshiping, like, what people got to ask this. The cross was seen all around the world before the story of Jesus even entered the earth. So what did it mean before Christ? That part, see, go take us into the whole shit we into now. But let me fall back. Go ahead.
Well, I think it also has something to do with the swastika. It's about direction. The swastika actually means free symbol. Energy. Yeah, it's the same symbol. It's just in a different way. But they all symbolize free energy. That's why, like, even when you look into how the bells, the church bells was working, they would go under those bells and those bells would heal them and change their vibrations. And it all has to do with ether. And ever since the Vatican took over, they made all of those etheric technology demonic. Like, if you were messing with free energy, they would say you messing with the devil or it's witchcraft and nonsense, things like that. Also, that they could change the system over to using oil. See, it really all goes to free energy. The reason why the Tartarian Empire fell is because they don't want the free energy empire. They want to control everything by using oil. That way they can fund their their global banking system. But I'll land right there, though. I'll let y'all talk.
When these people, and they told us the story, they said that the Pilgrims settled with the Indians and they learned from us and then took over. That's how they took over Tartaria, to people who want to know. Let's let Jeff, who is that? Go ahead. Who is that?
So yeah, that's me. Yeah. So because I've done extensive research on a lot of this stuff, and I work in the building industries. I won't state exactly what I do, but at a high level. And I started noticing there's a problem, like in New York, a lot of the buildings that there's no paperwork that, for the buildings, that it should be, the building codes in New York are not very old in the US in general. The oldest one is like 1900, but the city's streets is laid out perfectly, bridges at a certain height. You need a code for that. You need some code to tell people how to build. And the codes were very late, so I think there's started getting suspicious. But to deviate from that, I think the issue they're having with us is that we are connected to the serpent. Obia in Jamaica is a form of serpent worship. It's connected to Obi. You can go look up the word Obi, Oiobi, and that went back to ancient Egypt. If you read the old newspapers, you'll see that. There were plays in the 1700s, late 1700s, in England, with this topic of Obi worship and ancient, the voodoo is also our serpent worship. And I think to some extent I know less about North American, Black American culture of voodoo, but it's also serpent, I think.
Can I say one thing? The worship of the serpent wasn't exclusive to any geographic location. It was part of a worldwide spiritual system on the earth before the religions destroyed that.
I agree, but the origin is here. The Great Serpent Mound, the granddaddy serpent is in Ohio. The Great Serpent Mound is still in Ohio.
Well, I won't debate you on that. What I do to play it safe for myself, I tend to not give a geographic location to say they was the first with this or that, because it's kind of hard to prove, but I don't mind if you give it a shot. You
can prove it by mass, so I have a science background, so I know how to look at metadata to prove things. You don't have to have a smoking gun to make a proof. You don't need a body to charge someone with murder. You can look at the metadata.
The reason I say that is because, check this out, right? Yeah. And I'm gonna be brief. The serpent was not really being worshipped. What they was using the serpent to teach us about the Kundalini energy inside of us, the chi energy, just like I'm showing here. So what I was saying
Right.
was everyone in the world knew that they had a soul and they all had a This is when the Bible say that before God destroyed the Tower of Babel, the people had one spiritual system, one language, and all that. And when we go around the world, the same people that we calling Christians, guess what? They worship the serpent. This symbol right here that we calling the cross, it had a serpent wrapped around it, which is what Moses' spiritual system was before Christ. So
Yeah.
it was the original spiritual system. In America, it was Quetzalcoatl, the Kukulkan serpent. It was everywhere. Everyone was teaching about it. Was a worldwide knowledge time where when no one hiding the knowledge, everyone in the world was being taught about their inner light and how to shift the consciousness and all that. So you see statues all over the world of people meditating like this dude right here. Even in America. That's why when Columbus came to America, he thought we was Indians. The word Indian come from the word Indi, which come from the word Hindi, which come from the word Hindu. The Indus Valley civilizations got some of the oldest spiritual systems on earth. But the Pan-Africans will deny that and say, but God, consciousness, and religion starts in Africa. And that's how they trick y'all. We ain't talking about where religion started. We talking about where spirituality became popular.
Yeah, and another thing too, like the planet also has the Kundalini energy, which is like the vortex energy. Like if you've ever meditated, you've ever like done Kundalini meditation, you know that energy that hits you. It's like a electrical vortex. So the planet also has that, and that also ties into alchemy and ether, using that free energy that you could generate. And these buildings was able to harness that. So once they switched us over from that whole concept and they made everything spooky, they put everything inside secret societies and religions, they kind of made the whole idea of the Kundalini or energy or ether seen as something that they don't really want to rock with. And that's why they took ether off the periodic table, because once any scientist that starts getting into like studying ether, like the recent scientist that they killed over at Brown University, who was able to unlock a lot of these things, they get rid of them because they understand that if we have free energy, then we will no longer need oil. And we know that the US currency, which is the currency of the planet, is tied to oil. So it all goes back to free energy. It all goes back to ether. And they know that a lot of these ancient buildings, if people were to really study it, they will understand that there's a thing called free energy that they could tap into.
Mm-hmm. So
right, but I was discussing more about like because one thing I know for sure, the major target in the world is Black Americans, North American especially, right? And that's not for nothing, okay? That's done for a reason. And I think that's because it's a center of mass. It's a center of mass of the resistance. So it's not like they don't have a problem with it.
Not to cut your wisdom off, but it's because we are the most ancient people and our DNA has a lot of this ancient knowledge. They don't want us to really dig deep and meditate and uncover a lot of these ancient secrets. That's why they dumb us down. That's why they give us all the food. That's why they target us, because we are the ones
I got a question
in line
for you, Zeb. Do you believe that the population on Earth was reset at the end of the 1800s from like billions to just millions?
No, there's no doubt in my mind that that happened.
So
There's
then I would ask you, if the world was reset and every human after the reset was modified, you was manipulated. We don't look the same like the humans before the reset. Right? We don't even use all our mind. The environment different. My thing is, can we keep on saying Black people are the most ancient with our new Tartarian awakening? Because I'm going to start making a lot of Tartarian content, and I'm going to leave all that Black stuff at the door because I don't want to corrupt that community with that stuff. You see what I'm saying? It kind of challenges all that Black stuff.
You're right.
You see what I'm saying?
You're 100% right. The way how, because I don't like getting into the race thing either, because we know that when we talk about Black people, our skin complexion ranges anywhere from Drake to Wesley Snipes. Like, so it's a, you can't really play the skin color game when we talk about spirituality and consciousness. The reason why I say, well, in regards to the whole reset thing that happened, right? The people that they were, see, you got to watch the movie Stranger Things, right? Because it talks about how they actually do a lot of breeding programs. Now, when you study Europe and the fact that after those wars, or after those Napoleonic wars, the people they were sending everywhere, the orphans, they were Irish, they were German, they were Dutch. They were sending these peoples in all these different areas, like Australia, the Americas, in the South African regions. I think that a lot of there were people that survived when that happened. Like even there's a Hopi prophecy where they said that they went in the caves once the Great Cataclysm happened, and there's all these legends about people going in the caves. So I feel like some of us did survive, and we came back out, and we were the ones that they hunted down and they threw in these re-education schools. Because let's go back to Australia. What happened with the Aboriginals over there? The Aboriginals survived, but once those
Can I ask you something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Which can you give me something to type in there where we can pull up the original Aboriginals and see what they look like? You know, just to get a visual while you cook. Go ahead.
Just type in Australian Aboriginals or Australian Aboriginal cave art, because they got some crazy cave art that they found where, you know, it's like it looks very.
Is this a good? Okay, let's go with this one here. Go ahead, and I'll speak on this when you finish.
So what happened with the Aboriginals in Australia, once those clones got sent over there, they started putting them in Christian schools. They started telling them that their ancient science was nonsense. They started telling them that they're primitive. So it's like this. All the ones that were rebelling, they killed them all off. Like they massacred them. And the ones like the kids, they threw all of them in those religious schools. And there's a word for it where they pretty much put kids in boarding schools. That's what I'm talking about. They put a lot of them in boarding schools. And in those boarding schools, not only did they tell them that they were primitive and that they jungle people and that their grandparents don't know nothing and they just live in the jungle, and they started teaching them about Christianity. They completely destroyed all of their ancient knowledge by killing off all the old people and programming the young people.
So that's my point. Like at this point, I don't think we can really, if we go back, for example, these Aboriginals that you got up right here, right? They were bred in human zoos because they are Tartarians. They was never in the jungle crawling around like that. You see what I'm saying? So I don't think that we come from the jungle. I think we've always been sophisticated beings in civilized environments, and we wouldn't compete with the beast of the field. So, and my point is, I can prove this, that they had human zoos and that they you know, bred people to not only be smaller, but to act primitive, because if that's all they knew was the human zoos, you know. And I'll show you some.
Even if you were smart back then, it would have paid to act dumb, because they killed all the smart ones. Any ones that was able to read or pretend like they not trying to go along with the fake history, they just killed them. They had, what is a boarding school? Like, think about that. A boarding school is a place where they indoctrinate you.
But see,
they take you when you're young, and they indoctrinate you.
The whole point that I want to make, though, I don't think with what we know about this reset, and there could have been many more, everything we ever thought about how different groups was created, we got to re-challenge it, because what Tartarian research shows is that the Tartarians didn't have social political groups like black, white. They didn't identify as Italians, Chinese. It was a unified worldwide empire that was autonomous, meaning people didn't have a state ID card or country that they belong to. I don't know if that make any sense to you, but this is the pre-Babel earth. We're talking about before nations, before different languages. That's why when we look on every continent, we see this one consistent architecture. And that represent right before the reset, before we even had different groups. So when we read the Bible and it say God split our language up and made us into different races because we was all working together, we was one unified humanity, right? And it say the God of the Bible gave us different languages, different lifestyles and all that. And if you look at it, the God of the Bible created tribalism through human zoos. Look,
I completely understand and agree with what you're saying. The only thing that I'm pointing out is the people that came after that destroyed everything. They were the ones who are obsessed with race or the white brotherhood. They are the ones that's putting in the whole idea of skin color.
Yeah, they created it. They invented it.
They created it. And you got to ask yourself why are they so obsessed with skin color? Like, why?
Because it's divided. It was how they divided and conquered us after the reset.
There you have it.
That's
their system.
Yeah, because before the reset, again, everybody was integrated in a worldwide utopia, and even the Bible say that. It said they didn't have no nations, no creeds. They was just one beautiful, unified earth. Until God said, you know what? If I let them keep going like this, anything they do, they'll be able to achieve it. Let me stop this. So the God of the Bible was like, damn, if they keep working together in harmony like this, they can do whatever they want to do. And decided, let me stop that, give them different languages, make them war with each other, hate on each other, and give them different religions and all that. Come on, man. That was crazy. That's what they did.
I feel like we could talk about it, but the real thing is like they're the ones that's obsessed with keeping their skin color pure. Like they don't want to. No matter where you go, they're the real ones that's like really hyper focused on that.
And I'm trying to show you. I'm gonna try to show you why. All of the humans after the reset were genetically modified. And if you look at these white guys in the background, they are a good example of what the Tartarians look like, because look at how big they is compared to these little tribal people. They bred us to be small animals in the jungle, man. This is literally their creation, which is why they standing over these people like, look at what we did. We shrunk, honey, I shrunk the kids. We bred them to be smaller, so we ain't worrying about they're inferior to us. We bred them to be inferior to us. We also bred them to compete with the beast of the field and hunt their food with a stick. They literally took us to a Flintstone state of mind and then came out to the reset and said, oh, we've been like this. All of our ancestors from the jungle. That's a lie.
And you see, like, I like to identify who these resetters are, like the people that did the war and did the damage. They're the black nobility, the Orsinis. These people are very into bloodline. They don't like to mix with anyone else. They literally marry their cousins all off. They literally all work in banking, and they're all connected to the Jesuits.
And you know why? Because they genetically modified our DNA, and the people standing behind these tribal people, they can't mix with them. That's what I was saying.
Everything with them is like, and they call it the Draco bloodline. A lot of these, the black nobility families, when you really study them, a lot of them live in Switzerland. A lot of them fund CERN. A lot of them are technocrats. Right now, you see guys like Peter Thiel and these technocrats, they're all tied in with the black nobility families. You know what I'm saying? No matter where you look, it's always them. It's always their bloodline. And at that level, they don't really care about religion. They don't care about a lot of the culture. They they seem to be very hyper focused on their bloodline, though. Like they don't play around when it comes to the blood. You can't just go marry into them.
Right, because I mean, just think about it. If there was a worldwide reset and all of the humans on Earth were rebred, genetically modified for years, then the people that's doing the genetically modifying, they looking at the Earth like a big laboratory and we're all guinea pigs. They would tell they people we cannot mix with them. That'll be a rule they teach, and they would teach them, look, the reason we can't is because we putting all kind of jabs and vaccines, and we fucking they air up and water up. They're our little experiment. Don't breed with it because, you know, think about it. These folks maintain their original DNA from before the reset. Everyone else's DNA was rewritten after the reset. So why would I go and blend with some people who I just bred to be smaller than me, dumb, crawling in the air? Why would I go breed with my little lab rat that I made inferior to me? And this thing, what I created was a human that's easy to control. It dies quicker. It thinks on a low animal level. It only used the left part of its brain. And they've maintained full godhood in their physiology. Then, yeah, you would tell your people we can't make a mixed race because that'll allow them a way into power, right? The inferior races, they're inferior by blood. Like their blood was literally manipulated after this reset. And still, we're still being terraformed. Anybody denying what I'm saying, they still treating us like lab rats.
Yeah, I mean, like they look at us like cattle that they could just farm and grow and anything. And these black nobility families, I keep telling people it's not just Jews, because the Vatican, then you got London, and then you got the Zionists. They at that level, they all look at each other like gods, damn near. You know what I'm saying? Their religion is the Kabbalah. The way that they do religion is very different. Like they like to channel these Typhonian gods like Beelzebub and Baal, and they like to do all of these weird Epstein activities. And they literally look at us as cattle. And I believe like when they did the reset, they didn't intend for us to discover a lot of this information. You know what I'm saying? But it just so happens like a lot of this information is coming out. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we have this information in our DNA regardless, and they can't really wipe it out of us. And the fact that we're waking up right now, I'm afraid that they're probably gonna try to reset it again.
Well, I'm gonna say,
Sanchez, sorry, I gotta run. I gotta run.
Thank you for joining, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Come back, bro.
Can I make one last comment before I leave? One last comment.
Go ahead, bro.
I see it like a two operating system competing for a hard drive here to be installed. You know, it's like you have Microsoft and Apple, and they basically overriding. It's like one operating system overriding the ancient architecture. That's the way I see it. You know, and I think that's how they view us, especially people in the Americas, that we are the protector of that ancient architecture, you know, the ancient system. And it's the East basically taking over the West. Notice, you look at any cities around you. It's the East taking over the West. It's not about white people. It's the East taking over the West. All American cities are gentrified. And mostly from, I'm not trying to incite anything, but if you look at the people around you, open your eyes and look. Open your eyes and look. The whites are just the man making the way for other immigrants. But all the black people in the Americas population are declining. In Jamaica, they're declining. It's like negative birth rate now. Everywhere is declining, and they're flooding immigrants in. You know, I don't want to get into recent politics, but look in your papers where some countries in the Caribbean were like put in a situation where they have to take immigrants, or what they call them, refugees from third countries. And this is a strategy to gentrify the islands, because the islands are like enclave. You know, you can't really immigrate to the island without a passport, you know. you can't have illegal immigrants on your shore. So this is a way to get people that let in the country on purpose to flood now the region with those people and, you know, finish with us all. You know, it's an old system against the new. One of freedom, where you can have your lands. All Black Americans have a lot of lands before. Family land. We have the same thing in Jamaica. It's a concept called family land in Jamaica, where you can bury your own dead on your own land. That's freedom.
It's the great
You can do whatever you
replacement
want with
theory.
it. Yes, and
But see,
they're now
one
bringing
thing,
thing where you don't own anything.
one thing I want to say is, I'm finna do a stream after this, right? And I want y'all to stay tuned. I'm gonna redirect y'all. It's gonna be about Black incubator babies. Here go the thing right here, right? Ain't nobody got no pure blood on this earth, man. That's you saying my body is in the same state that the original humans was, and that's just impossible because the earth have been manipulated. We don't even live in the same earth they lived in right now. Water different, air different. We've been manipulated. And there were things that the ancient people were able to do that we are trying to figure back out how to do. We trying to see what our deja vu gift is. We trying to astral project. People back in the day was doing this at the snap of a finger. They were superhumans with this stuff, man. They were time travelers.
Sanchez,
So yeah, go ahead.
but when we talk about the Black nobility, these people who did the reset, when you watch the movie Rosemary's Baby, and it's all about the bloodline. See, their bloodline, they're able to channel ancient demons into their bloodline. That's what a lot of the rituals that they do. The reason why they
Ancient
keep the bloodline a
demons,
certain way.
monsters.
Yeah, I mean, like they believe that they are able to channel beings like Baal and Molech and get possessed by it so that those beings could pretty much inhabit their bodies. And those beings are only able to manifest in certain bloodlines.
You know what, bro?
That's the whole concept of Rosemary's Baby.
When you get deep with this Tartarian stuff, and I'm gonna just say this right respectfully, I don't think it's demons. I think that AI technology is older than what we think, and the beast is AI, and that when kings wore
the
their
demon is AI. The word daemon comes from the word demon, which is a program.
Okay, so we ain't debating there. So we ain't debating. Yeah. Cool. Okay, I'll fall back.
It's AI. They literally are channeling ancient AI. All of those gods that they worship are pretty much AI. When they talk about AGI or the singularity, or when these supercomputers come on, all they're doing is channeling an ancient god that they want to bring back into reality. Yeah, that's what CERN is. That's what Elon be talking about when he's talking about like Neuralink. They want to bring back these ancient gods because those ancient gods want to live forever, which they're just ancient people that died off, if you ask me. But they need certain bloodlines for those beings to come back. AI and ancient god is the same thing, if you ask me.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But I do want y'all don't see too how big these damn white guys are, man. They huge compared to these folks. Like, that's something that is proof, like, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. What y'all think? You don't think they shrunk us after the reset? I think they did.
Now you got to really get into the whole biblical narrative about the Nephilim giants and what happened after the flood, or the fact that those Nephilim giants were said to be demigods or super advanced. So the Bible says the flood happened and all those giants got wiped out. But according to my research, that Nephilim, that giant bloodline, is still here today in certain people's bloodline. They just hide it better.
Because Shaq is like the dude on the right, for real. So we may have already bred with them. Like what?
But don't you think that back in the day, like the oxygen level might have been different, that allowed for these giants to be, you know what I'm saying? Because we had giant trees back then. So if we had giant trees, that means that the oxygen level would have been a little bit different. And we also had like giant insects, because we could see like those giant insect fossils. So I think that humans were giant too. And as we transition out of that era, a lot of those giants kind of died down to the point where they pretty much are very rare right now. So that's what I think a giant is. I think it's just an ancient, super tall human, like a 15-foot, 20-foot human that kind of died out.
It's crazy that they don't teach us about the human zoos, because that's the lost part of slavery. And this was bigger than cotton picking. This was what the whole human owning humans was all about. They was making more money from circus acts. See, the dark side of slavery no one want to talk about. They was breeding humans to be freaks of nature for sideshows, breeding them in toxic environments for spectacle purposes. Now that's the real dark side of slavery. That's even worse than just making you pick cotton.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it was a massive psychological program that was going on back then. And another thing you should really look into is the ISIS theaters. The ISIS theaters were these theaters that they started creating, that they made all the citizens go to these ISIS theaters where they would pretty much show them psychological propaganda programs and teach people certain things. And all of these theaters that were popping up everywhere, they would have people go in there and they were like doing mind control with them with a lot of the films they were showing, because they wanted to, they pretty much wanted to educate people on the new reality that they were living in. So it was a mass psychological campaign going on. And that's what the World Fairs were. That's what a lot of these zoos were. They were trying to program people to believe the new narrative that they were coming up with.
Yeah, and y'all need to go check out the stream I did on human zoos, because it'll go deep into this too. Is on my is on my previous, should be the previous one, I think. But check this out, right? This is another image. All of them is at the end of the 1800s, beginning of the 1900s, around this reset time, where here go another white guy, pilgrim, standing next to a tribe. But think about this. Why are all the tribes during this time in human zoos, which are synthetic simulated environments? Meaning, if you raise some babies up in the jungle, that'll be a Tarzan project. We can code name this the Tarzan project. After the reset, they took the babies and started breeding them in the jungle simulated environments, and that's how they created the tribes in the jungles. So what are we saying? Earth is a simulation, and the first humans in this simulation came here already technologically advanced. How can we prove it? If we're in a simulation, the first humans here created the simulation, and if they can create a computer and a Earth-like digital program, why would they come in here crawling in the jungle, competing in the damn jungle with lions and tigers? They would come here gods, technological, and they would bring the technology from the world that they come from into their new simulation, right? And the thing is, that is more of the truth about the history of the first humans on Earth. They're retelling history after the reset, and they're deleting a whole technological utopia that's probably been here since the beginning of this simulation. And
hey, Sanchez, the other
ahead.
night I wasn't able to get on the panel, but I was listening to the show. You were playing that Tartarian video where it was showing like the blimps and how beautiful the city looked back then. And I want to tell you, man, like when you playing that video, like I swear I felt deja vu watching it. Like I felt like that world really did exist, and maybe in a past life I lived in
Me
that
too.
world. I don't know if anybody else felt that deja
I
vu
did
feeling
too.
about that video.
And that's why I
Yeah.
said in my stream that I don't think Tartaria got destroyed. Like, I'm really going deep. I think our Earth is life is a digital program that can be copied, and you can create a parallel version of it. You can edit the other version, therefore create alternative universes, or what they call the multiverse. So people ready to go there with the Tartarian. That's where I'm gonna take it, because it's so much deep stuff to this Earth that they ain't telling us. But the important thing is this: if humans naturally come from the jungle, How come the first tribes we see are in simulated fake jungle environments, aka zoos, but you can't find no real images of these humans in the beginning in uh a natural jungle? Think about it. If the pilgrim came to this country and found these Indians in the jungle like this, why would he take them out the jungle and put them in a fake jungle, a zoo, and charge tickets to see them when we can just go to the jungle and look at them in their natural environment? So this show, they created these tribes and trained them to be in the jungle. I call it the Tarzan Project, where you raise these orphan babies up with the animals, and then when you release them and let them go free, they gonna run to the jungle. They ain't gonna run to the city. If you go to any of them tribes in the jungle and try to put them in New York, they gonna want to go back to the jungle. That's all they know. They was bred to be that way after the reset. And people don't think this is possible, but they see these people domesticating wolves. They see these people manipulating genetics and keep and grafting different types of humans and shit. And we don't. And the thing about it is, bro, why would people pay money to come see Indians in a zoo when they can just go down the street to the jungle and look at them in their natural environment? That's like saying Sanchez gonna take his family to the zoo and pay a ticket to see a tiger when I can just take a safari and go see the real tiger in its natural environment and do it for free. That's crazy. This show us apparently when the pilgrim showed up, he did not see Indians in the jungle. He saw them in beautiful stone empire cities, and he destroyed that. And all of the new humans, he raised them in simulated zoo environments. And after that, just like they say with black folks, they said that the white man kept us in slavery so long that when he released us, we went back to the plantation because that's all we knew. Now take that same concept with human zoo slavery. If you raise a baby up with the Tarzan Project around animals, then say, okay, I'm gonna free my slaves. I'm not gonna make money off selling tickets with them no more. I'm gonna do the right thing and let them go free. These people gonna go to the nearest jungle and establish they shit and build huts like what they was building in these zoos and reestablish this same system that they simulated for years in the jungle.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that they reset the human timeline, meaning that we got so technologically advanced to a point where maybe the technology became destructive? So rather than have people pick up back to where we left off, they figure let's reset these people back to being primitive so they could run the simulation from day one over again. You understand what I'm saying?
You know, well, I think they wanted to trade places with us. I think when the pilgrim showed up in this country, he was a scraggly hut building scrawny creature that was running around the jungle fighting for meat and scraps. Even the Bible talk about Esau eating the meat. And then when he came into our Victorian utopias, like that video I played the other day, you said it resonated with you. He was like, whoa, I'm in the land of the gods. They building stone. They wrote about us like we was gods, which shows you they wasn't on our level, bro. The pilgrims, I can show you the houses they was building. It ain't nothing that's near Tartarian. So when they must have saw our shit, they was like, damn. And guess what? You got to think these people are barbarians. They come from isolated jungle civilizations that was isolated from the technological world. So when they first discovered, remember, they was finding the world. We was already have built the whole empire. Where did they come from? I'm going to tell you what I believe. I believe that they didn't come from the caves. They come from uncharted, unmapped places, and they ended up leaving these places when they ended up building some resemblance of travel
They come from
technology.
Hyperborea. That they're according to
So
their
we
legend,
can
they
we
were in
can you know
Hyperborea.
we can speculate where they come from, but I would say everybody come from Hyperborea. That's the primordial origins. What I'm talking about is the founding fathers that said they discovered America when they put up on the so-called Nina Pina Santa Maria, right? So I'm saying where did they come from? Out the people always ask me, how did they destroy Tartaria? Where did they even come from? They told us where they come from. They said at the pip. Well, let me show y'all this real quick.
No.
Watch this.
The reason why I said Hyperborea is the Nordic region, right? When we talk about like Iceland and Greenland and places like that, the environment is so arid and desolate, and the snow everywhere. And some people say it's actually the remnants of a nuclear war, but I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. But those Nordic regions where like they were living like cavemen, and there was very scarcity, like you said in the other video, it kind of breeds this animalistic, capitalistic idea where
Well,
it's scarcity.
well,
So you know what I'm
the
saying?
Nordic Hyperborea is like saying Eden, the North Pole lands, like the 4 continents that's around the North Pole, with the one with the being the pygmy. I'm just want to throw you that and let you cook to see if you, because I was thrown. You saying Nordic area. I don't know if you talking about those 4 lands around the North Pole.
Maybe because my understanding of Hyperborea is those are the Nordic Viking territories where it's just all snow, and it's very scarcity driven over there. Because I even like really started looking into the whole Vikings and their whole ideology.
Here
So
go
I feel like,
Hyperborea.
yeah,
You
and
ever
that's all the Nordic region over there. You know, it's very over there right now. It's nothing but snow, and you know what I'm saying. It's like always winter. You know how like in Game of Thrones you have like the White Walkers over there. That's how I look at it. So it's a place where it's just nonstop snow. It's not a lot of sunlight. There's not a lot of crops. You know what I'm saying? It's always snow, and it's like living in Alaska, pretty much. I wouldn't
well,
describe Alaska as Eden.
well, here's the thing right here. I'm not describing Alaska as Eden. I'm showing you 4 continents that have you ever known any of the do you see these 4 continents on any modern world map with Alaska and Asia and all that? This is an
Yeah, I
ancient
know
map.
about that map. Yeah,
So
they
so
porting that
so
map off.
so really what I'm telling you is this mountain range right here that you see around these 4 continents, that is a little tourist field. It is said that you can't even enter this little land right here. It's a whole nother ether right there. A little donut within a donut like. So that whole mountain range, it'll be like us meeting a little minute, like a tourist field. And inside of there is a like this city called Agartha, Hyperborea. I can even show it to you in the Yggdrasil version. It's the most elevated point in the cosmos because when we go toward the middle, we are ascending. So if you go here, they got concepts of this little city in the middle of the earth right here, where the tree of life, like where Adam and Eve was from. And you can see it in a lot of concepts. This ain't one of them, but in the middle of the earth, you will see this little city right here, elevated. Asgard, Eden.
Yeah, but before you get to that, don't you gotta
you
go
got it.
past like don't you gotta go past the Arctic? And the Arctic area, that's where I feel like those people came from.
So I'm confused because when you say the Arctic area and you start talking about the cold, I'll show you this right here. This was confusing me, right? So North Pole on globe. When you look at the North Pole on a globe, it's an ice cap. And then you'll get this Nordic talk, the whole but I mean, I get what you're saying, but I was going back to like the part about the Nordic people being from Hyperborea. I would say that I ain't disagreeing with you on the Nordic people coming from the cold or whatever, but when the Nordic people talk about their primordial origins, everybody talk about the North Pole, but I don't think that the modern Nordic people even rep the North Pole no more because they're globe earthers, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. Because doesn't Hyperborea mean like the North Pole anyway? Like
Yeah,
that whole
hyperboloid.
region. Yeah.
You know what a hyperboloid is?
No.
I'll show it to you. Hold on. It's the center of magnetism. It's a shape. So this is a hyperboloid right here. And the reason that is the name of the North Pole is because Earth is an electromagnetic energy field, torus field. Let me show you. Earth is an electromagnetic energy field. And at the middle of it, you got a hyperboloid, what we call the North Pole. And that's that hourglass shape that's at the center of magnetism. Here it is right here. And I'll show you another one here that's more easier.
Yeah, I definitely could rock
So
with that.
that's why they said a
I got a
North Pole
question,
is
then.
hyper. Yeah, go ahead.
So those Viking people that, like some people call them cavemen, some people call them Icemen. Where did those people come from? Those Vikings that eventually these Nordics descend from. Where did they come from, in your opinion?
Because when you talk about the Vikings, they got a geographic location outside of the North Pole that they call a homeland too. But I think the Vikings, when they said that they come from like Hyperborea, they're telling you what I was saying earlier, where all humans come from. They giving you like the primordial origins of everybody. But when we started off at the North Pole, we expanded outward, and when we left the North Pole, right, our consciousness had to pass through that little dome that I said. And what happened was when we shifted our consciousness through that smaller dome that I showed right here, that's when we put the clothes on. So when we go back to this middle land and pass through that dome gonna strip us of our body. It's like going to different parallel realities. It's a bucket and a bucket and a bucket, so it gets smaller the more you go toward the
I think we
city.
both can agree that the Nordic area is definitely not no Eden, and they definitely were
Right.
not living
Yeah.
in no good environment. You know what I mean? I think we both can agree. But I think
People
I
got
made a
two
mistake
different
when I called it Hyperborea. That's where I messed up at.
people got two different origins, and then the whole it be like the primordial origins though. But the whole thing I'll say is this, man. With the Tartarian awakening, a lot of black people are wondering, were there black incubator babies? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna have a show coming up after this one where we're gonna talk about black incubator babies. And I'm gonna let y'all keep cooking. I'm still preparing for that one though.
And earlier when we were talking about the fall, I always had an issue with the whole Montezuma story, right? Montezuma was the guy that they said the Spaniards infiltrated his empire and they took it over. I believe there was only a handful of them, and they said that they just went in and they just took over the whole empire and they stripped everything. And when they were describing his city, it sounds very advanced to me. They used to call it a city of gold. They said he had all these pyramids. They said he had aqueducts. That city that he ran, I'm not sure if it was the Aztec city or it was the Mayan city, but it seems very super advanced to me. And the whole story of how like they took it over just didn't really make a lot of sense. Because how are you this advanced king and you let these Spaniards come in and they're able to trick you and kidnap you and take over your whole city and wipe you out. What do you think about that story?
I think all of these stories need to be challenged. Now I'm multitasking right now, so do me a favor. I apologize. Break that down for me one more time, and I apologize. I was trying to set up this incubator
All right, yeah.
baby joint. My
All right,
bad.
so I'll break it down like this because earlier we were talking about how did we fall? How did we lose our civilization that was free energy and everything? And I brought up the story of Montezuma. Montezuma was one of the kings that the conquistadors um encountered. When the conquistadors landed over here, it is said that Montezuma's whole city was like a city of gold. And when you look at a lot of the old ancient Mayan cities where you had like all the pyramids everywhere, they had waterfalls, they had aqueducts. I could show you images of how they said that Montezuma's city lived. It definitely looked super advanced. But they also said the conquistadors, I believe it was Pizarro. Uh, don't quote me on that, but I do believe it was Pizarro. So the conquistadors, the way that they were able to take over that city of over 1 million people, they kidnapped Montezuma and I guess they forced him to give up the city, and that's how they were able to go and take over that. So I was saying like that story doesn't make any sense. Like how did these conquistadors go in and conquer these people with these advanced pyramids and advanced civilizations? It just didn't really make any sense to me.
I see what you're saying. And it seems like this golden kingdom of Montezuma was destroyed with it was a part of this Tartarian empire, if you ask me. And it was gold
Oh,
and not
definitely. Yeah, 100%.
and
Yeah.
it was destroyed with the reset, and it was gold not because it was just they was being, fancy. It was equipment, it was technology for energy too, so it looked good too. But I also think that when they destroyed this golden city, they probably took all of that gold, and that was really the Fort Knox holdings that became the gold rush in San Francisco, because they want us to think that a bunch of pilgrims was down there with little bitty buckets getting grains of gold for years, and that was enough gold to fill up Fort Knox. I think all of the gold in Fort Knox came from disassembled Tartarian structures and shit after the reset. That make more sense than them mining gold, hammers and chisels. It don't, even the math don't add up when you look at how much gold they would have been sifting, because they sifting it. They ain't digging up clunks and boulders, and then the process of how to refine the gold to turn it into bars would have been coming from people who was building mud hut roofs. So
Yeah,
this
check
don't
this
add up.
out too, Sanchez. If you go to Pinterest.com and you type in Montezuma, um, the building behind him looks like the White House. A lot of the buildings looked at very Greco-Roman with you know how you have like the pillars and you have like all of these nice chiseled architecture on these buildings, but yet they got him in like feathers, like like a jungle person. You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing, and they even said in their journals that the whole city was made out of gold. And you and I know that when it comes to gold on pyramids, it is part of the machinery, because I do believe that gold is a semiconductor, and it's part of, like, when you put gold and copper and other materials together, that's how they're able to generate a lot of the free energy. So I don't believe that they looked at gold as the way that we look at it, which is currency or money. I believe
Yeah.
that they looked at gold as something to
Energy.
energy, yeah. And they
Because
stripped all of those pyramids down. Yeah, go ahead.
think about it, right? You just said they didn't look at gold as money, but they looked at it as currency, energy, and we still call it currency because really the true money is energy. That's how they create inflation, by telling us that energy costs are high, so we gotta raise prices, even though your employer don't raise wages, because your employer is saying, well, it's costing me more with the new energy prices, so I can't pay my staff, and they give the rich a bailout again. Inflation, the rich get rich, poor get poor, and they say, well, let's just give the rich more money, and that'll trickle down to the workers, even though the average person working at McDonald's gonna retire way later than one of the owners and all that. We know how that go, but my whole thing is, man, it's free for them to print the money. But they say, well, a dollar ain't even worth a dollar right now. The dollar we printing is worth $2. So if it cost us $3 to print $1, because they say, well, we burning coal, we running out of fossil fuels, and so energy getting high, that benefits them, but not us. Like it literally, when they say, well, we in debt, they're not because they got free energy to create money with. And then they inflate the money by saying, well, it's charged more energy costs. So we pay for the taxes on the new money that they print, and the whole excuse is energy costs, which is why free energy is such a threat. Because what if we found out that they was literally generating free energy with Tesla technology and driving inflation with lies?
Yeah, no doubt. And another thing, like when you go to Arizona, they actually have a castle over there that they call Montezuma's Castle. And before, a lot of this information came out, they were trying to say that it was a natural formation. And only now recently they're coming out and saying that, no, this is actually a castle. And again, the castle looks very Greco-Roman. That's why I kind of question the whole idea of these Greco-Roman architecture everywhere. I believe that that's Tartarian architecture, and the ancient Indians who had all of these architecture everywhere. I'm still kind of perplexed. Kind of, how were they able to fall if they had all of these advanced?
I got you.
Buildings everywhere.
That's the part I like the answer right there, and I'm gonna screen share with it. Because that answer is so easy when you listen to the history that they told us about the Pilgrims and the Indians. Let's go revisit the story, though, and then we'll move forward. Watch this. We are told stories that the Pilgrims landed on Plymouth Rock, not the Indians. And when the Pilgrims landed on Plymouth Rock, for so many years, there were peace with the indigenous people of this land and the Pilgrims. And that during that time, we was teaching the Pilgrims everything they need to know to live on the land, how to hunt turkey, where the water system's at, and that we was teaching them corn growing because the Pilgrims was new here, right? And said we was getting along fine until over time the Pilgrims secretly turned on the Indians in a covert biological warfare where they started making the Indians sick and then making the Indians inferior to them through sickness. Now let's go back to Tartaria and let's rewrite this story. Let's say when the Pilgrims showed up, it wasn't a bunch of Indians in skirts with feathers in their head, right? It was a bunch of stone gods. This is what the Pilgrims saw when they came, y'all. Look at this architecture. Now list the story they give us. Dudes with feathers in their head living in tents. But when they showed up, we was walking around beautiful. Look at these buildings. And guess what? The Pilgrims were able to enjoy this Tartarian system like everyone else because there was no tyranny. They didn't need a passport. They didn't need an ID. It was an open system. But see, my thing is when the Pilgrims found Tartaria, because they was new to this land, they never saw such greatness, which is why they settled here and learned the Indians' ways. But what did they learn from the Indians? It was more than corn growing and sweet potato growing. It was electricity, how to cut stone. They stole all this ether knowledge from the Indians. They said the Indians knew how to make it rain. What are they doing today? Weather modification. That's ancient stuff they stole from us. We were the gods with all this technology. We were the first Elon Musk with Neuralinks. The Olmecs got Neuralink hats on their head. How are we able to communicate so quick with one another all around the world as if we had telephones? Because I'm going to tell you the truth. There were men walking around Tartaria with crowns on their head, but they weren't kings like what we say today. They didn't rule over everybody. They were guides or gods. Why? Because the crown on their head was like a telephone. It was like a big antenna that was interconnected to this worldwide system. The dudes you saw with the crowns on their head, they was communicating with Neuralink to other kings around the world, keeping everybody posted on what's going on all around the world. This was like a media system. And this king, you had these dudes in the land. It wasn't just, I'm wearing this crown because I look better than you. We're looking at it different today. This is just equipment. That's like one dude holding a cell phone and he relaying the message to everybody else. But we look at it like a king ruling over everybody when it was a god or a guide. He was the signal receiver. And this is stuff we finding out that the kings and the pharaohs weren't walking around with 10-pound crowns on their head. It'll be uncomfortable. It'll be too hot, and it'll mess your spine up over time. A crown weighs 10 to 20 pounds. Now, you go take a dumbbell and put that shit on your head. Watch this. Anybody wearing that shit ain't wearing it all day, and that got to be some kind of clunky technology. So they definitely retelling history, because I think these kings were really like receivers, and they were part of this hive mind among other kings in their land, keeping everybody connected. Because even today, historians say, how was the ancient world so interconnected before we had telephones and stuff? And they make it a big mystery. And they like, people had to be communicating quickly with from continent to continent, because we see the same architecture everywhere. We see the same symbols all over the earth. There was one world unified empire.
So
And
it's
they
like they
all,
let the fox in the hen house, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. I think we had telephones and ways to communicate like that. We was already sending wireless transmissions through the ether for power. So that's the same foundation behind sending a text message or anything else. But I'm going
Not only that, we also had aerial crafts. We had the blimps.
Yep.
We had the Vimanas.
So yep, we was connected. Yep.
Yeah,
That's
and
fact.
even like in that video you played with Tartaria, you saw those airships everywhere. You know, a lot of the steampunk aesthetic that it had to it. And for anyone that really doubts the whole Tartaria thing, you should really ask yourself, why did they stop with all the airships? Like, what was the whole point of that?
You know what they
Airships is actually, go ahead.
No, they beat a dude got on my show the other day, was like, man, because the blimps was dangerous, and brought up the Hindenburg stuff.
Yeah, so the whole narrative is the Hindenburg disaster, and they just stopped messing with all of them. So that would mean whenever we have a aircraft crash today, why do we still hop on planes?
Yeah.
If anything, a plane is more dangerous than a blimp burning down. But here's the thing, though: the blimps are free energy. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But the airplanes is attached to oil, and it all goes back to oil. They only promote machinery and technology that uses oil. Whenever any scientist comes up with any kind of device that is free energy based, what happens to them? They get rid of them.
Oh yeah.
Whenever they figure out how to tap into ether technology and vortex technology, these spooky guys show up and take all their blueprints. So clearly, they are hiding the truth about the technology. They don't want it to come out. And it's like the scariest thing to discover free energy. That's almost like a death sentence in our society right now. That's why like with that black dude the other day when he came up with um the whole oil out of plastic, everybody was so worried about him because we all inherently know that if we come up with free energy, the government or the spooky guys is gonna come in and either try to kill us or suppress it.
Yep, that's facts.
I'm still in the back. I'm still on, y'all.
No, you on?
Okay, I got a question about the Tartarian thing. Uh, I've seen all the evidence with the buildings, especially being down here near the DC area. What the question I have is, where are the images of the black people? Because we see in Rome, in Europe, in Italy, France, you can see that they have black faces sculpted into the buildings. But
We finna.
you know,
I ain't gonna lie. I would really like it if you give me about maybe 3 to 4 minutes for you go there because that's the next show topic, man. And you can open
okay,
up for the next
yeah. I
show.
remember you did say that. My bad,
Yeah,
my
and
bad, my
I
bad.
hope,
I
but
misheard
don't
that.
forget what you saying because I'm gonna let you open up for the next show with this right here. So remember, go ahead and get it together.
Appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate it.
Hey, brother, there's a building in Iowa. I don't know the exact name of it, but if you type in Tartarian, Iowa, you'll see, and they have all of these figurines on the building of these black Indian
Okay.
chiefs, and they
Okay.
call
Yep.
them
Yep.
Moors heads. So a lot of the
Okay.
Tartarian buildings, they actually have like Moors heads and Indian chiefs on those buildings, which highlight the fact that they built it. And if you notice it, whenever you look at anything in early America, they always have like these black Indian chiefs on it. Why if we are primitive, if we ain't shit, why are all these buildings with our faces on it? Why do they put all these black Indian chiefs in all these buildings, the statues and everything? Like if you hate somebody, if you think somebody's a slave, would you build a statue for them? No. So that right there shows you that the whole historical narrative just doesn't make any sense, man.
Yeah. Just like the brother said, I'm a hold off to the next session for him because I do have some insight because now that you mentioned it, I'll say this one thing. The Library of Congress has a bunch of heads of black people around the whole building. So that I have to retract on. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, man. I want to know. I would like, I like delving into that topic for sure. The Tartarian thing, because there's definitely some buildings out here that are very questionable in their structure and design. It's like, man, something is definitely
Yeah.
going on. Like another instance for sake is the mound builders and then those that built actual pyramids. So we have like the pyramids in South America that are built like, they look like ziggurats, for better words. They look like step pyramids. But then you
Hey,
also
brother.
have the builders that did the mounds where they're just like a bunch of rocks thrown on top of each other, on top of each other. So I always question that too. Who was the two different builders? There was one builder that built more like the pyramids that we see, that are structured, like structurized buildings. And then we have the mounds that are everywhere. And they're just kind of like it's like a pyramid or a hill, but it's just a bunch of rocks thrown on each other. So that is questionable too.
Hey, brother, have you ever seen the image of Chongo? He's like the black sculpture. He's like a black king, and he has on this massive gold crown, and around his neck, he has like this massive Flavor Flav gold, intricate necklace around, and on his arms, he has like these gold medallions, and he's the sculpture is of him holding like this green stone. That's how all of us
Okay, it's
were.
like
We all,
it looks like an axe
yeah, like yeah,
or a or like Thor's hammer almost.
yeah. So that's how we were dressed, like that. We all had these golden crowns. We all had the big, massive gold chains on. A person like that will be more in line with someone that would design a advanced architecture building. But yet, when
Yeah,
you
it's
go with
definitely
the
a difference
official
between them.
narrative, yeah,
Mhm.
the official narrative is he's some more, or he's some jungle man that don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like they give you some crazy story that don't make any sense. They say
Yeah.
they just don't happen to make a sculpture about some black dude with all this gold on, and he's some tribal
Mhm.
jungle guy, which is clearly
Right, right.
bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. But that is definitely a question. Who built the mounds and who built these structured pyramids that are like very structured and measured? Whereas I'm not gonna say that the
Guess
mounds
what?
weren't measured.
Who's to say that the people that was released from the human zoos, when they was left back to go to the jungle, they had to relearn architecture again, so we can see a evolution of them building little jungle huts to mounds and all that. But at the same time, you see people living in big ass stone cities in the background that was there before them. And some of the faces we see on these Olmec statues and old statues look like the people who live in the little mounds. So some ain't adding up. It seemed like some happened to these people where they lost their knowledge of building. And some happened where, and that something is the reset, if you ask me.
Facts, facts. I do believe that there's definitely been some type of reset because this just doesn't make sense. Like you said, the people that built these structures are living in huts, or the huts are in front of these big structured cities. So then it's like, who built the city? And then I would say maybe I would, from the school of thought I come from, I would say this is probably pre-flood stuff. Maybe it's from
Yeah,
before the flood.
pre-reset, pre-flood, same thing. Yeah, you want to call
Yeah.
it flood? I'm with it. Yeah.
So yeah,
Mhm.
y'all ever watch Mad Max with Mel Gibson?
Mm-hmm.
You know how
Mm-hmm.
like the Mad Max world is like, it kind of looks like the Wild Wild West. And the story of Mad Max is like civilization done fell and now they gotta reset everything. So that's how I look at the environment after the reset. It was an Armageddon environment. It was just lawless. It was desert everywhere. It was like the Wild Wild West. Buildings was destroyed. It looked like the most dystopian thing you could think of.
Post-apocalyptic, and Mad Max
Post-apocalyptic,
is
yeah,
Mad Max is what you call post-apocalyptic. I
yeah.
use that for a reference a lot. I'm glad you brought it up because it shows you the diversity I'm talking about, how tribes was created based upon your territory and the resources there. That will even shape
Mhm.
your whole new culture. If
Mhm.
you see, when we watch Mad Max, you got like the water people, the fucking people who control, and
Mhm.
that's how trade, barter, and capitalism started. Because if I just don't see this same system in Tartaria. But yeah, I'm with you on that, man,
Yeah, the
all day.
post-apocalypse was the 1800s and early 1900s. That was the post-apocalyptic civilization. The civilization before that one was the civilization that had all the advanced buildings and the V monocrafts with the free energy. Because how else would you explain we going from V monas and blimps, airships everywhere, and Roman buildings
To
and
huts.
architecture to some Wild Wild West niggas on horses and with tethered clothes and running around in skirts and with
Yeah,
bows and arrows and all that type of shit.
yeah,
That's a post-apocalyptic world, man.
that's facts, bro.
Look, man. I'll say this about the flight thing too. My trip over to Africa, I was told that conventional flight it was not the first flight. So
My bad.
using aircraft and flying carpets and all that stuff was not the first flight. People actually still fly right now in on that continent. Probably, I'm pretty sure here too in South America, and I'm sure there's maybe some shamans out here in the Americas, North America, that's got their little secret rituals and stuff. But yeah, I'm thinking that conventional flight, when they told me that, I was like, damn, I mean, we've always heard the stories, we've seen the movies, we've seen the cartoons and all the ideas of people being able to fly. But when I went there, I was told by certain particular groups of people, they like, man, people still fly to this day. Like literally, people still fly. They do rituals to fly. They do rituals to stop the rain. All of that stuff still exists over there. This shit is very, very that joint is very intriguing to see and be able to just get close to the culture and understand like this stuff does still go on today. It's not just like some myth, you know.
Well, a lot of
X-Men
it.
isn't just something that people made up. You know, they got the stories from somewhere, but the crazy part is that the X-Men is still the stuff that they have in X-Men is still going on right now
Well,
in real
when
life.
it comes to like a lot of the ancient flying crafts that exist, a lot of it is just technology that our government has hoarded and kept in places like Area 51, where they back engineer a lot of the ancient crafts. If you look up the Sonora Aero Club, which was a 19th century club where they were showing how a lot of the V crafts was designed, they pretty much show you like they have all this technology and they're studying it and they're trying to figure out how to do it over. So look up the Sonora Aero Club. That also goes into a lot of the blimps and the anti-gravity crafts that they had. But again, they don't put that out there because those crafts utilize free energy. So they want us trapped in this oil and gas system. And whenever we go and we ask about the Vimanas or the blimps or anything that doesn't utilize oil and gas, you know what I'm saying? They suppress it. But look it up. It's called the Sonora Aero Club, and that kind of goes into like all of the ancient crafts we used to have and we were flying around in.
Now look, this is the thing that I've noticed about that because I have looked into that topic. What I noticed was they have maps before these aircraft. So like the map that we know of where it shows the inner Earth at the so-called North Pole, and then they have all the continents around the North Pole. Some of these maps that they have predate these flying craft. So the question is, how did they get an idea to make these maps when they didn't have the flying craft? That's what makes me, you know, kind of tune in more to the fact that people can fly. If they do certain ritual practices, they have the ability to fly in the sky. And that's how these maps were made before the Vietnamese and all of that stuff, you know, before the blimps, before the flying carpet.
Bro, you
They
know
But
that
had
see,
the
they
that's what I'm
Vimana
saying.
craft.
But just what
No,
I'm
no,
saying.
hold on.
We made the maps because we had blimps and all of that. We was able to
Yeah,
hover in the
and the
sky in a
Vimana
blimp
craft.
and make a map. Yeah.
Yeah, the Vimana crafts literally go back, according to mainstream history, 5,000 years. I'd say it goes back 50,000 years. We've been had crafts, man. Like the whole ancient Indian epics is about flying crafts. They even had flying cities. Go read the Bhagavad Gita where it talks about flying cities. The Bhagavad Gita goes back 5,000 years.
Yep, seen
So
that too.
you can't
Seen
say
that
that they
too.
ain't have flying crafts. Man, they've been had all that shit. There's a dude there's a channel right now of this Indian dude that I like to check out where he goes to all these old Indian temples like out there in
I'm talking about Mohan, Pavery Mohan.
whatever his name is. You know who I'm talking about. Yeah, you know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
that
about.
guy's
Go
great,
watch
man.
his channel, man.
I seen him
Some
go
of them
from zero
temples, yo,
to
listen,
hero,
bro.
bro. That shit crazy.
Some of them temples, they literally have on the temple like dudes flying around in UFOs. Like it's shaped just like a UFO, and you see them flying around, and they would say how either the god Vishnu or this god or that god would hop on his craft and literally fly to a whole other city, or how like they had wars that they were waging. You think that nuclear weapons is new? Bro, they've been had fighter jets. They've been had whatever technology you see right now that we have. They had it back then, and it was even more advanced. They even had
Yeah,
computers.
I would say I would say it's more advanced what they had back in the day compared to now. But what we have now is very primitive. It's very primitive compared to what they had back then, for sure.
Yeah, like all those epics go back. When you read the epics, they talk about 100,000 year wars, eons. You know how long an aeon is? An aeon is like a million years. You know what I'm saying? So the technology we have right now, just put it like this, it's just the technology that they are slowly releasing to us. Dudes like Elon Musk and a lot of these technocrats, they have all of the technology hoarded and they are back engineering it. And the technology that they want us or the regular people to know about, that's the ones that they release to the public. But really ain't nothing new under the sun, bro. So whenever they
Yeah, that
release
is a
anything, you
fact.
know that's just what they're releasing to us. But they've been had crafts, they've been had the internet, they've been had supercomputers. Ain't nothing new, bro.
I just seen the other day they used to use the fire hydrant for cell phones. They used to tie a wire around the top of the fire hydrant, connected to a little device, and those were some of the first phones that were like wireless, sort of say. You still had to hook a wire up to it, but you would hook it up to the top of the fire hydrant, create a current come through and flow.
And another thing you should
All
ask
right, so
yourself.
let me ask y'all a
Well,
question. Are y'all ready to shift to the black incubator baby topic? Because I want to give y'all time to transition. So
no,
when
go
we
ahead, sure.
change
Yeah,
shows,
I'm
we
waiting
can.
on
Yeah,
you,
I'm
man.
ready. I'm ready. I only
Yeah,
probably got
I'm
about
waiting on
another
you.
30 minutes.
All right.
Yeah, let's get it popping, man. Go ahead.
All right. And I ain't gonna even play the intro music. We just gonna go right into it and let bro open up. So let's do that. Hold on, we about to shift now. Hold on. In 2 minutes, we'll be ready to go.
I just want to say, man,
shift.
I love your
We
channel, Sanchez, man. Like this, you probably got the only channel where we could really like vibe out and not feel like ridiculed for like bringing up a lot of the